Noel saying, let's have fun, Dallas. The Cowboys, Landry saying, maybe we're lucky we got here. Let's go out and do the best we can. For historical purposes, the orange and black of the Steelers were out there just loosening up. 10 minutes less time than the Cowboys. Maybe the Cowboys, as the first wild card team in history, think they need a little extra. I don't know. Tom Landry has taken to wearing the hat again. He had it off all week. He's been gracious, rather gentle and direct. Knowles has been direct too, but a little on the sardonic side. And so it's the Cowboys 10-4, the Steelers 12-2, and this is the day in which they decide it all. Ed Ingles and Jim Kelly are here, and they in a moment will be bringing you the play-by-play of this Super X. And we will get into some of the details and interesting sidelights of today's game right after this.
Oh, come on. Doggone it.
Hi, Chrissy, what you doing?
I'm trying to open up my camera.
Let me see it. You just better take it to a camera expert.
Take it to the camera experts at Kmart, home of the goof-proof, picture-perfect guarantee, where you only pay for prints that please you. Borderless, color silk, no smudge prints.
You like pretty pictures, don't you? And you like saving money, and you like free parking.
But I'm not good at any of those things.
Well, Kmart's good at all of those things. And if you're out of focus, or you got lint in your lens, or you cut your mother's hat off, Kmart understands. You understand?
No.
Well, if you bought a dog, you wouldn't pay for the fleas, would you?
Wouldn't I?
Kmart never makes you pay for your mistakes. Kmart is the saving place.
Back at the Super Bowl where it's 56 degrees, do you remember the late Fred Allen said Florida's a wonderful place to grow oranges? Well, this afternoon, at this kind of weather, it's a fantastic place to play football. Maybe a little on the chilly side if you're one of the umpty-ump thousand who are sitting in the stands there. I don't see an empty space anywhere, and tickets have been harder to come by than a smile or, well, an outstretched palm. Ed, can you hear me down there just before the battle, brother? Ed Ingles.
Win, I could hear you without even a headset. You're that strong.
And Jim, I know you're there. How about it?
We're all set.
Good. So Eddie Ingles and Jim Kelly are standing by, and you know what's at issue. The World's Championship of Professional Football. It's called the Super Bowl. The winner that get $25,000 apiece, the guys that is, and that fantastic Super Bowl ring, which maybe in some senses emotionally is worth more to each of them than the money. The money they can spend, but the ring they can wear, and it'll warm them forever. The talk down here all week has been Dallas and its shotgun. That is the stationary position of Roger Staubach, 12 yards behind so that he can look over the fence better. And the Dallas flex. Versus that, Pittsburgh's obvious talent, their ability to block, their ability to tackle, and their ability to win the big ones. So what's going to happen? I haven't the slightest idea, except they're going to play the game in about 10 minutes. Win Elliot, Super Bowl weekend special on the CBS Radio Network.
And we're just 1 minute away from the live coverage from CBS with Ed Ingles right here in WCBS. Looking at some of the top national and international stories. Before we head to the Super Bowl again, the Soviet Communist Party newspaper Pravda says that Russia will do its utmost to reach a new arms limitation agreement with the United States. Secretary of State Kissinger goes there early this coming week. U.S. and Spanish officials are indicating there may be a new agreement by next weekend on American use of bases in Spain. And two towns in the rail link between Zaire and the Atlantic Ocean are said to be the current targets in the Angolan Civil War. Pope Paul is asking Roman Catholics to provide aid for victims of the civil war in Lebanon. There was another ceasefire declared there, but like the others, it just was not working. In Midtown Manhattan, it is sunny, 16 degrees. Tonight, down to 5 to 10 degrees in the city, a little colder in the suburbs, a little milder tomorrow, and then a chance of rain coming up on Tuesday. Sunny skies in Midtown Manhattan, 16 degrees. I'm Ralph Howard, and now, the Super Bowl on WCBS.
From the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida, on the CBS Radio Network, CBS Radio Sports presents the AFC-NFC World Championship game between the Dallas Cowboys and the NFC champion and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the champion of the AFC. Hello, everybody. This is Jim Kelly, along with Ed Ingles. Win Elliot, of course, is here, and we're all set to bring you all the action in color as the Cowboys take on the Steelers in Super Bowl 10. Today's game is sponsored by Kelly Springfield, tires that make a world of difference, by Anheuser-Busch Inc., Brewers of Budweiser, the king of beers. By Kmart, home of goof-proof photo finishing. By your local John Hancock Life Insurance agent, a true professional. By Airborne, your worldwide door-to-door air express service. By Buick Division of General Motors, cars dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone. Just minutes away from kickoff here in the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. Win has told you it's 56 degrees down on the Coliseum floor. Up in the press box, we'd say about 10 degrees cooler. The wind is blowing 21 miles per hour from the northwest. We can tell you now that Dallas has won the toss of the coin, and they will receive, as you would expect, and defend the goal to the east, that is to our right. The Cowboys today, the home team, the visiting team, they'll be wearing the white jerseys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the home team, of course, will come out in their dark jerseys. Quite a matchup we're expecting. The Cowboys head coach Tom Landry, the only coach the Cowboys have ever had in their 15 years, the expansion club built by Tom Landry, and a gentleman sitting to my right in the booth right next to us, Tex Schramm, who will join us at halftime. The Cowboys under Landry, 126 wins, just 90 losses and 6 ties, and this was to have been a rebuilding year for the Dallas Cowboys. As he entered his preseason, he said he'd be happy to come out with a record of 7 up and 7 down. He did better than that. He's the first wild card team in history to reach the championship of professional football here in the United States, the Super Bowl. So for Tom Landry and his Dallas Cowboys, what does it shape up as? Well, we look for a battle between Roger Staubach and the shotgun, as Win had mentioned, and the key there as to what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do defensively. He's going against 3 of the best linebackers in all of pro football for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jack Ham, Andy Russell, anchoring that side along with Jack Lambert in the middle. Win is up here with us. We're just a couple of seconds away. Win, let's get some thoughts as we turn to you now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, can they defend Roger Staubach?
Well, Jim, there isn't any question but what the Steelers are an experienced defensive team. I think they're better defensively than they are offensively, of course. The fearsome foursome up front. They seem to be well-ordered. They're very confident. Ernie Holmes has made the point that he doesn't care whether the quarterback is in a T formation or in a shotgun. The way he expects to see him is on his back. Jim, you remember the shotgun was tried back in the 60s when Red Hickey was the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. He is now a member of the Dallas staff. But the shotgun then was the only offense that San Francisco had. Tom Landry, in resurrecting the shotgun, has put it in as a method of thwarting the umbrella, the prevent defenses that the defensive team puts on when it knows you're in a position to pass. And his philosophy has been, heck, if you know we're going to pass, why don't we give ourselves every edge and try to make it come? So he's put Staubach those 12 yards or so in back so that he gets a chance to look over the defense. The Steelers say it's not going to bother him, Jim.
Of course, one of the other things that the shotgun offense will do, it helps separate the zone defense that the Steelers will be playing in this afternoon, but it also gives Staubach more time to pick out his receivers and what receivers he has.
Well, there's no question about that, one of whom or a couple of whom are constantly coming out of the backfield, as you know, especially Preston Pearson, who came into his own in that fabulous game against the Rams. Incidentally, Jim, I was here very early this morning getting some of the details, and the first player from either team to come into the Orange Bowl today was Preston Pearson. He went to his own dressing room, then he wended his way around through the bottom catwalk there and went to the Pittsburgh dressing room. There was nobody there, but maybe he just wanted to look it over, whether he needed a piece of tape or not. But Preston Pearson was the first player in the 1976 Super Bowl.
Well, there's a story behind Preston Pearson. Of course, he was a former Pittsburgh Steeler, before that a Baltimore Colt, and the Pittsburgh Steelers tried to get rid of Preston Pearson before the preseason began. He was unhappy in Pittsburgh, and there were some problems there. Chuck Noll said that no one was willing to pay the price until Dallas took him just before the season began, and what a find he's turned out to be for Tom Landry.
I think in part, Jim, that was because Landry and the Cowboys thought they were in a rebuilding period, and so did the teams that did not have it or thought they didn't have it in the NFL. And there's a little question about picking up a guy who is Preston Pearson's age. They'd rather pick up the youngsters. But when he became available and they knew he was a good pass receiver and they could get him for practically nothing, he came over. And what a break it's been for him.
Well, you talk about a rebuilding year. Let's look at just what the Dallas Cowboys have lost since their team of 1974. You know, last year was the first time in 10 years that the Dallas Cowboys failed to make any sort of the playoffs. They're back in, of course, this year in the first wild card team, but they lost Dave Manders, who retired, along with Cornell Green, Bob Lilly, and, of course, Walt Garrison. They traded away the likes of Bob Hayes and John Nyland. Of course, Calvin Hill went to the World Football League. And right now, Calvin's on unemployment, and Pat Toomey played out his option, and he went to Buffalo. So when you look at the fact they've lost 6 or 7 outstanding players who were starters for Tom Landry, what a job he's done with the 12 rookies that he's brought in here.
Jim, I'm very impressed with the Cowboy operation anyway. They're an organization. When I came to Miami, one of the first things that was handed to me was a Dallas Cowboy rookie book, as though they failed to notice that my equator had lengthened to the point where it's a 44, 46. I get a Dallas Cowboy rookie book which explains to me all the advantages of being a member of the Dallas organization and why they picked me, because obviously I have the motivation and the resolution, and even if I don't think I'm making it, stay with it, because even if the Cowboys let me go, look at all these names that have been picked up by the other teams. So they don't leave anything to chance. They develop everything. Well, the country has been in a construction downgrade. You know, there hasn't been much in the way of building in this country in the last year or so. So it's nice to know that at least Dallas is a secret. They could rebuild in 1 year.
And they do it all through the draft. Preston Pearson, the only Dallas Cowboy not drafted. With kickoff just a few moments away, we'll be back after this word.
First.
I took my pictures.
Second.
I took my pictures to Kmart.
And then.
Uh-oh, looks like they all came out black.
Every single one.
Yeah, but don't worry. At Kmart, you don't have to pay for them unless they come out just like you want them to.
Too bad. Well, they were pictures of angels.
Angels.
Girl angels and cat angels and dog angels.
Why didn't you take any boy angels?
Oh, well, I never seen any boy angels.
Take pictures of your little angel or your little devil or anything else to Kmart's complete photo department and take advantage of Kmart's goof-proof picture-perfect guarantee. You pay only for prints you think are perfect. Proof positive your negative is goof-proof at Kmart.
Kmart never makes you pay for your mistakes. Kmart is the saving place.
Earlier, Win was telling you how tough tickets were to get for this Super Bowl, the 10th history of the AFC and the NFC Championship, now, of course, under the NFL banner. There was one story we heard coming out to the stadium this morning. There was one watering hole in Miami Beach where a fan had 2 tickets that were for the ground level that were supposedly reserved for some people who would need wheelchairs. This fan offered his 2 tickets, Win, for over $200 apiece, but you had to bring your own wheelchair.
Well, Jim, the tension and the magic of the moment is beginning to at least overcome me. It's the kind of feeling that you get when they're nearing the post at the Kentucky Derby, when the World Series clubs are lined up on the 2 chalk lines on the outside, and they've all been introduced. I don't know whether they shake in their pants, but I shiver in my boots. My palms begin to get a little moist, and I feel the tension and the tingle of the little boy again when I was afraid to turn the sports page to see if my team had lost. I can be honest that I'm not rooting for either team. One of the nice things about being as close to this event as we are, Jim, is the opportunity to meet everybody involved so that you can identify with them and know what their hopes and fears are, and so that you automatically, you really can pull for both of them as we are. And when the winner is finally proclaimed, though he may have a bump or a bruise or maybe spill a little champagne on you in the dressing room, you can legitimately look in his eyes and exult for him and be happy for him, while sort of deep down you feel pain for the losers.
Well, you've got to wonder what's going on now in the minds of the players. They're down there in the locker room waiting for all the pregame ceremonies to conclude. The Steelers, of course, the defending world champions, they've been here before, and they would become a little bit more experienced emotionally. You have to wonder what the 12 rookies on the Dallas Cowboy team are thinking. They have not. Tom Landry said earlier in the week they were in another world. They didn't know what to make of this Super Bowl 2-week layoff since they played last. Some of the Dallas veterans, of course, have been here before. So all of the emotion now building up down in the locker room, ready to explode down on the field in just a couple of minutes. As far as Chuck Noll and the Pittsburgh Steelers are concerned and his strategy of the game, well, you can expect a slugging defensive game. Noll said before you've got to win the game, you've got to go out and try not to lose it. So obviously a key, ball control and turnovers, and Tom Landry has said the same thing. Dallas, the wild card team, got in here by beating Minnesota 17-14. You all, I'm sure, remember that 50-yard touchdown pass with just a couple of seconds to go. Roger Staubach completing that to Preston Pearson in the end zone. And, of course, then the very surprising NFC Championship game in Los Angeles, which we had the pleasure of doing 37-7. The Dallas Cowboys over the Los Angeles Rams. And Win, what does that do to a team like Pittsburgh now? Pittsburgh's an outstanding defensive team. The Rams had a good defensive team, and they see on television Dallas completely blowing out the L.A. Rams. What does Pittsburgh think?
I think the time for shoulda, coulda, wouldas is over. And the Steelers as the champions and secure in their own abilities and confidence as they come out to our left, I think they feel within themselves that they are the team, and it doesn't make any difference what anybody else has done, hopes to do, or will do. They are it, and they're quietly confident. I think they subscribe to the philosophy of Coach Noll that blocking and tackling is going to win the game. They know how to block. They know how to tackle. And here we come. I think that's their attitude.
Well, we can see down below us on the floor of the Orange Bowl, the Pittsburgh Steelers in their black jerseys, white numerals, and gold pants have made their way out of the tunnel, waiting to be introduced. The Dallas Cowboys have not yet come out. The Pittsburgh stands all rose when the Steelers came out, led by, I guess you'd have to say, the #1 cheerleader, Win, a fellow by the name of Bob Bubanek, who is the leader of Jarella's Gorillas. He is easily identifiable here. He's the only one dressed head to toe in a gorilla suit.
But the one who really counts is the elderly Mr. Arthur Rooney, who was standing quietly pregame down in front of the bench there, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who waited 42 years through umpty-ump coaches and hundreds of players to come to Nirvana, to come to the Super Bowl line, which he did last year. He went into the dressing room early. I know he just quietly circulated among his players and said, fellas, like we all got here together, your wives, your kids, this is our moment, and win or lose, you're my boys. And I think that's the feeling in the Pittsburgh Steeler camp. In the Dallas camp, I think there's more electricity, Jim. There's more hope, there's some fear, and this is kind of a wonderland for them, and maybe it will be part of their strength, and perhaps maybe their undoing, insofar as games like this, when you're good enough to have gotten here, where you have such superior defenses, maybe more overpowering than the offenses, it may be the tension, it may be that moment when you don't concentrate, which causes the mistake. And the way the coaches, Jim, tell us all year round, and it kind of disgusts us because we expect him to say something meaningful and something interesting that we can report, and they always tell us the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win the game. And the closer you get to this, I guess, the more you take that professional attitude and believe.
Well, you talk about what the coaches are saying. You've been down here all week. Ed Ingles has been here. We've listened to both coaches, Landry and Noll. We've talked to the players. I don't think there's a question that hasn't been asked. We know just about everything about both teams. The players have answered the same questions time and time again. We know what the strategy is going to be. Ball control, defense, slug it out down on the Orange Bowl floor. We know that Roger Staubach likes sex as much as Joe Namath. The difference, Staubach with his wife, Namath with, well, we don't have enough time.
I know I don't. The Pittsburgh Steelers, getting to the sublime, are down to our left. And maybe there's a little psychology, Jim. They left the field first, and they've come back to the field first. And they're standing around in the triangle to our left in the area where they will defend. And the Dallas Cowboys, whether going through a prayer meeting or a little psychological delay, are still in their dressing room and have yet to make their appearance. Now, if this were a boxing bout, I would say this is a little con job, where the champion, Muhammad Ali or whoever, is staying in his dressing room and he's letting the other guy get out there and get a little cool, get a little stiff, and get a little edgy. I think Landry has won the battle of psychology all week here, insofar as the media has done nothing but question the Steelers. How are you going to handle the flex? How How are you going to handle the shotgun? How are you going to handle the resurgence of these young Cowboys? Nobody has really hit the Cowboys and asked them how they're going to handle the Steelers. And here, right at the onset of the game, they're doing it again. Landry has got his guys hiding in the dressing room. I doubt that it takes this long to tie the last shoe, and they're waiting, and the Steelers is standing sort of jumping up and down. And I would be too, Jim.
When you mention the flex defense employed by the Dallas Cowboys, it's been a concern of Chuck Noll, obviously of Franco Harris, because it's primarily designed to stop the run. And for an explanation of what the flex defense is, let's find out for sure now from quarterback Terry Bradshaw, the man who'll be facing it down on the Orange Bowl floor this afternoon.
A flex defense is where a defensive tackle on the offside of the offside end who is off the ball. These two people are off the ball. Okay, the flex is the defensive end who is off the ball and down in a 4-point stance. When the onside guard of his side pulls, his responsibility is to flow up and down the line of scrimmage. When he blocks straight, then the gap comes in. Then he fills the outside gap. The offside tackle on the flex it's so hard because he's a guy that's hard to trap. He sits and reads. Now that's about as simple as I can put it.
In other words, Terry, it's not an easy thing to be running against. The Pittsburgh Steelers being introduced down on the Orange Bowl floor. They will be introducing their defensive lineup. The front four comes out. Dwight White, Ernie Holmes, Mean Joe Green, Steve Furness. They will alternate. We'll tell you more on that in a moment. And L.C. Greenwood. The linebacking core for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 59, Jack Ham. Fifth year from Penn State. Jack Lambert is second year from Kent State. And Andy Russell, an 11-year veteran out of Missouri. And in the secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers, over in the left cornerback spot, number 24, that is J.T. Thomas, second year out of Florida State. The short safety, Mike Wagner, 23, fifth year from Western Illinois. The free safety is Glenn Edwards in his fifth year from Florida A&M. And Mel Blunt, who led the NFL interceptions with 11, sixth year from Southern, the defensive lineup of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And just now, across the way from the tunnel win, the Dallas Cowboys are coming out. They have waited until after the introduction of the Steelers. Again, Coach Landry winning the battle here. It's a chess game now. We're going back and forth.
Jim, I would suspect from the reaction, this is primarily a Pittsburgh Steeler crowd.
Well, I think one story might explain that. Maybe all the Dallas fans aren't here yet. There was a jet that left Dallas this morning at 7:30 as they were flying into Miami over the Gulf of Mexico. They had champagne and eggs Benedict. They bust to the stadium. They might still be partying, but they'll be here.
Sounds like they're still flying.
When they get here, we're told, not only are they bringing their Dallas fans and wearing their white Stetsons, they're also bringing the pilot of the plane, the entire crew, and the guy who drove the bus. Now we're waiting for the introduction of the offensive unit of the Dallas Cowboys, coached by Tom Landry, as you know. They are wearing their white jerseys, blue numerals, silver helmets across the way. The Cowgirls are down there, and here comes the backfield, the starting backfield. No, these are the ends. Okay. At tight end, number 84, Gene Fugit, his fourth year from Amherst. Over on the right side, the wide receiver, Drew Pearson, number 88, his third year from Tulsa. And the split back, Golden Richards, 83, third year from Hawaii. The receivers for the Dallas Cowboys. Former Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, you know the name, Roger Staubach, his seventh year, 6'3", 197. He, of course, wears number 12. Running backs, opening up, Preston Pearson, number 26, his ninth year from Illinois, 6'3", 205 pounds. At the other running back spot, a little bowling ball, Robert Newhouse, 5'10", 200 pounds, the man that had to step in and replace Calvin Hill. The men you don't hear about too often, the men who will be doing the blocking, facing the likes of Mean Joe Green, Ernie Holmes, Dwight White, and L.C. Greenwood. The interior lineman at center, John Fitzgerald, a most important man, snapping the ball back in the shotgun. The guards, Burton Lawless, the only one of the 12 rookies to earn a starting berth for Coach Landry. And also Blaine Nye, an 8-year veteran from Stanford. The tackles, Rayfield Wright. He's got a tough job on that right side. He'll be facing L.C. Greenwood and Mean Joe Green. Wright, 6'6", 260, his ninth year from Fort Valley State. And the other tackle on the left side, an 11-year man from Oklahoma, Ralph Neely, 6'6", 260. The starting lineup offensively for the Dallas Cowboys. So Win, kickoff just a couple of seconds away. pick a winner.
Well, Jim, what I noticed is neither club got into that tight knot and jumped up and down out of their skin because Tom Landry says that's for the baloney. You get that kind of enthusiasm, it lasts 3 minutes, you score a touchdown, you lose 35-0. I think it's been a matter of preparation in both clubs. I think the Steelers have more talent. The Cowboys can make the bigger play at any given second. On the basis of consistency, I'll go with the team in black and yellow, hesitantly, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I would agree with you there. I think that the Steelers will win the ball game. I think I'll take the other side on one little hunch, the big play Dallas offense, and it'll make things more interesting. We'll have something to play off a little bit later on. But actually, the Cowboys have made believers out of me. The incredible finish up at Bloomington against the Vikings, a tough defensive team there. They held Fran Tarkington and company to just about nothing offensively except for the one drive. And then that incredible game out in Los Angeles at the Coliseum where they simply destroyed the Los Angeles Rams. So for the sake of making things interesting, I'll take the Dallas Cowboys. Now the man will swing it the way in the deciding vote. Eddie Ingles will call him in just a couple of seconds. Again, in case you joined us late, the Dallas Cowboys have won the toss. They will receive the kickoff. They will defend the goal to our right, the east goal here on the Coliseum floor. The Cowboys and the Steelers are all lined up. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, to lead us in the singing of our national anthem, Tom Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep up with people.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flag upon bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Far sidelines, Dennison. Good return man, also is used as a running back. To the near sidelines, we have Preston Pearson. They're both inside the 5 on a crystal clear afternoon, a good day for football, a fall-like afternoon with the temperature creeping up into the upper 50s. Gorilla comes forward, toe meets leather, game underway. Kick is down to the inside the 5, at the 3-yard line. It is Pearson. He hands off on a reverse, coming out to the left side, across the 15, out to the 20, the 25, the 30. He gets a block across the 45, the midfield stripe, and finally out of bounds the 43-yard line, Tom Henderson. And the man who brought him down, Roy Gorilla, the last man between Henderson and the goal line. And right away, the Cowboys have come with a razzle-dazzle. Pearson takes the kickoff, hands off the ball back to Henderson, who comes left, confusing the Dallas defense, the Pittsburgh defense. They did not react very well to that play, as Tom Henderson, only a linebacker, swings up the left sidelines and goes 53 yards with a kickoff return. The Cowboys set up shop at the Steeler 44-yard line, 1st and 10. The Cowboys attacking from your right to your left. On the right side wide is Pearson. To the other side is Golden Richards. Now they split back into the setback positions of Newhouse and Pearson. In motion comes Fugate, the tight end. Staubach going right, trying to get the ball. He fumbles, but the Cowboys recover. Picked up at the 47-yard line and running with the ball for yardage is John Fitzgerald, the center, who had to go get that ball as Staubach fumbled, being pressured by Ernie Holmes and L.C. Greenwood. He recovered, takes it back across the midfield stripe to the 49-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they lose 5 yards in the play. So it is 2nd down and 15.
Eddie, I think the first 2 plays tell us something about Tom Landry's coaching. He can't afford to wait now and see what Pittsburgh's going to do. He wants to get on that board first.
Obviously, he's going with a lot of razzle-dazzle stuff. Out of a huddle they come from the I formation. This time they do not split. They hand the ball to Newhouse off the left side. No running room as Newhouse goes down to the 47-yard line, and that's all. Newhouse picks up 2 yards on the play. In to make the stop, big Ernie Holmes, defensive tackle. The man who's been the star of this defensive front four for the Steelers this season, helped out by Dwight Wright. Dwight Wright making the stop along with Holmes. It is 3rd down for the Dallas Cowboys, and look for the shotgun here, Jimmy, on 3rd and 13. Staubach loading up the shotgun, I would think. No, at the moment he is not showing the shotgun as he comes up to the line of scrimmage. He has Richards out to the left. He has Pearson to the right. Now he switches to the shotgun. Roger Staubach likes 5 receivers in this one. Jack Lambert may be coming with a blitz. Staubach looks. He fires down the middle. Incomplete. Underthrown. Intended for Preston Pearson. Nowhere near Pearson. Jim Allen, the closest man in there, as the Steelers went to a 5 defensive back arrangement on that play. And so on the first time with a shotgun, we come up with a dud. Incomplete pass on 3rd down. The Cowboys now faced with a 4th down situation and 13 yards. No score in the ball game. We have 13:23 left in the first period. And in to kick for the Dallas Cowboys will be Mitch Opes. Opes will be kicking. Kyle Davis will be centering. We've got twin safeties for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Edwards to the far sidelines. To the near sidelines, Dave Brown. High snap. No trouble, those. Hook gets it. He kicks it away. Inside the 10-yard line, backing up to the 7-yard line. Taking it at that point is Allen. Allen tries to go up the sidelines. Is knocked out of bounds. He crossed the 15 up to the 18-yard line, and that's all. So the Steelers will not have good possession as they take over with a 1st down and 10 situation. A 40-yard punt, 11-yard return. Steelers have the ball for the first time today. They go on offense. They're attacking from your left to your right. 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh. On a beautiful afternoon for football. Certainly the Cowboys came with razzle-dazzle when they had the ball. Let's see what the Steelers do. They're normally a more conservative team. What they like to do is get 4, 5, or 6 yards on 1st down with Franco Harris carrying the ball control as they go attacking now from their own 17-yard line. 1st down and 10 from the 17. Bradshaw, Blyer, and Harris are their backfield situation as they have the split backs off the tee. Bradshaw looking under. Bradshaw gives to Harris. Harris left side, goes wide as he drives some running room across the 25 and is out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Franco Harris is a man, if he can't find running room, he'll move to the outside, and that's just what he did as he swung wide around the left end. Mel Renfro coming up from his quarterback spot to make the stop. Jimmy, looks like that they'll go to Harris early and get the yardage that they need on the 1st down and try to ball control because you got 8 yards in that one, and that's just what Chuck Noll wants to do in this football game.
Well, we know that's a key as far as the Dallas defense is concerned as well. Noll wants to see what it's like to run against this flex defense that we've heard so much about. The key is whether they can stop Franco Harris on 1st down, also contain and pressure Bradshaw, try to make him force him into a mistake.
Lynn Swan set off to the right. Bradshaw giving this time to Blyer. Blyer off the left side across the 30 out to the 34-yard line. He gets some running room. Blyer gets the 1st down. Cliff Harris has to come up from the secondary to make the stop. And the Cowboys in the first 2 plays have had to have their defensive backs come up. Good blocking in the right side of the line for the Steelers by Jerry Mullins, the 5-year veteran guard, and Gordon Gravel, the 4-year veteran, as they block on Ed Jones and Jethro Pugh. 1st down for the Pittsburgh Steelers at their own 33-yard line. Again, the setbacks, Harris and Blyer. It is Swan out here on the right side. They give this to Harris, right side. Not much running room, but he crosses the 35 out to the 37-yard line goes Franco. Franco Harris cracking straight ahead that time. He did not veer. Went behind the blockers again on the right side. Jim Clack, the left guard. John Culp, the left tackle, also clearing some room as he moves it out. And now it is a 2nd down situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers at their own 43-yard line. They have it 2nd down and about 5. Again, they break the huddle. They go from standard set T formation. The two setbacks are split about 2 yards. Harris and Blyer. They put Swan out here on the right. They put Lewis on the left. And they give it to Harris over the right side. Franco drives up very close to the first down. In to make the stop, Edwards and Harris. Again, Harris going straight ahead. He is short of the first down. They give him forward motion. It'll be third down and less than a yard to go. As the Steelers make some changes in their lineup, they bring in for blocking purposes Randy Grossman at a tight end as he replaces Larry Brown. All right, out of how they come. The Steelers going for that yard that they on the first down situation at the 42-yard line. They have the double tight end. They put Grossman as a wing on the right side. He is a tight end. Cowboys coming with a 9-man front. They gave this to Harris, but he does not get the first down. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage at the 40-yard line. Harris trying to swing around the right end, but coming up quickly to make the stop. Mark Washington from his cornerback's position. Washington correctly diagnosed that one, came up and made the stop one-on-one on Franco Harris, and the Steelers must give up the football as they fail to make the first down. On their own 40-yard line, it will be 4th down and 4 for the Dallas Cowboys, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Bobby Walden, the veteran, comes on. Walden, 37 years old, here to do the kicking. Golden Richards is the deep man, a single safety for the Cowboys. Back at the 23-yard line, the snap is bobbled. He's hit. He's going to be lost for a loss back at the 27-yard line. A break in the football game. Bobbling the snap, Bobby Walden swarmed under Randy White, the first man to get it for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys get a break. They take over at the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-yard line. Bob Brewing also in there. Bad snap. They rule it now. Mark it at the 29-yard line. Cowboys go first down and 10. Mike Webster recovering the fumble. There's a timeout of the field with a score. Dallas nothing, Pittsburgh nothing.
Here it comes, America, our 200th birthday. And Kelly Springfield is kicking off 76 with Tire Sale 76. During Sale 76, you can buy a 4-ply polyester tire for just $17.76. You get 7-rib traction tread for long, dependable mileage, and polyester construction for a smooth, no-thump ride. Yes, America, the celebrations are starting now. The price is just $17.76 for Roadmark 4-ply polyester during Kelly Springfield's Sale 76, plus $1.74 federal excise tax in size A78-13 Blackwall. You'll find them at all Kelly Springfield auto service stores and participating Kelly Springfield dealers, as well as many Sunoco and other service stations. Kelly Springfield. Tires that make a world of difference.
First big scoring opportunity of the ball game. The Dallas Cowboys have the ball at the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-yard line. A high snap by Mike Webster to Bobby Walden. He had trouble finding the handle on it. He was tackled, and the Cowboys take over. They're attacking from your right to your left. Steelers must dig in. It's been a Steeler offense which made 13 turnovers in the 2 playoff games. Again, turns the ball over. All right, out to the right is Pearson. To the left, Golden Richards. The one setback is Newhouse. Now they move Pearson from a wing into the setback position, but the setbacks are split out far. Here is Staubach back to throw. He's looking. He fires down the middle, complete the 15-yard line, at the 10-yard line, 5-yard line. Touchdown, Dallas Cowboys. Drew Pearson was the man who was wide open. Pulled that pass and over the middle, broke to his left, went in for the score. And again, the Cowboys immediately go with some wide open offense. A 29-yard pass, one play, recovering on that bad snap from center. The Steelers unable to punt. That crossed him because the Cowboys in the next play go 29 yards for the score. Tony Fritsch will come on to kick. Kyle Davis will hold, check that. Charlie Walters will hold. 6-0 Cowboys. They're on the board here with 10:24 left in the first period. Tony Fritsch, side settle kicker, waiting for the snap. It is down. Fritsch comes forward. He kicks it. It's up in the air. It is good. And the Dallas Cowboys get on the board early as they lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 7-0 in Super Bowl number 10 with 10 minutes 24 seconds left in the first period. We pause for this.
When you say bud, you've said a lot of things nobody else can say.
A lot of things, like Beechwood aging for 100% natural carbonation. That's how the Budweiser people age their beer. Nobody else does it that special way. But then, nobody else is brewing the king of beers. I could tell you a lot of other things about Budweiser and why it's the largest selling beer in the world. But it all comes back to the Budweiser taste, and that speaks for itself, loud and clear. Hear it talking?
There is no number one. There's only something less. Because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser,
you've said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, we're back at the Orange Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys have struck first. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the first to arrive here in Miami. They're first to work out, but the Cowboys got on the board first. Win, we talked earlier on the pregame show about the fact Chuck Knowles would say if you've got to go out and win the game, you've got to try not to lose it first, and that fumbled snap on the punt set up the early Dallas Cowboys score.
Tony Fritsch kicks it off for the Dallas Cowboys. It comes down, a bouncing kick picked up back at the 5-yard line by Mel Blount. Blount comes to the right side, the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, across the 30. Down he goes to the 32-yard line. Mel Blount moving behind some blockers, brought down by Randy White. A very fine second year for the rookie pro for the Dallas Cowboys, who plays several positions. He was the #1 draft choice of the Dallas Cowboys. So the Steelers will be attacking from your left to your right from their own 32-yard line, with the Dallas Cowboys leading in the Super Bowl by a score of 7-0. From the Miami Orange Bowl, this is Ed Ingles along with Jim Kelly, Win Elliot, and we hope later to have some nice surprise guest analyst for you. All right, here come the Steelers. Again, Bradshaw is the quarterback. He's got Harris and Blyer behind him. He's got Lewis and Swan as the wide receivers. The give is to Harris, right side running room. He goes across the 35, out to the 39, out to the 40-yard line. Franco Harris getting a key block from Ray Mansfield, the 13-year veteran center, in to make the stop again. Coming up from the secondary, Cliff Harris, as the Cowboys are looking to their secondary to make the stops. And that may be a tip-off, Jim, that the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to move that ball on the Dallas front line as they did here again. They pick up 8 yards. So it's 2nd down and 2 for Pittsburgh. Remember, they did that on the first series of plays. Stallworth comes wide left. Lynn is wide right. Cowboys have crossed in the flex defense, a containing defense. They want to plug all the holes before they pursue. Bradshaw giving the ball off to Rocky Blyer, but that time there was no room. Blyer tried to go off left tackle, ran into big Harvey Martin, 3rd-year man, 25 years old, out of East Texas State, makes a stop. Mullins and Mansfield trying to open the hole, but there wasn't much room there. But they're close to the first down, only 3rd down and 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers at their own 42-yard line. Again, they go in with the short down formation as they bring Randy Grossman in as a second tight end, and they take out Frank Lewis as a wide receiver. So again, the Cowboys being asked to stop the Steelers in a short yardage situation. Steelers attacking from your left to right. In the wing position is Grossman. Setbacks are Harris and Blyer. Bradshaw looks over a 9-man defensive front. Now they send a man in motion. They give it to Harris. Left side, he's got the first down as he fights his way across the 45 out to the 47. It's Franco Harris going for the first down before he's brought down by Harris. Again, Cliff Harris in for the 3rd time to make a solo tackle in this game. First down for the Pittsburgh Steelers at their own 47-yard line. 1st and 10. John Kolb, 7-year veteran. Jim Clack, 5-year veteran, on the left side of the Pittsburgh line, make the key blocks. So Steelers 1st down and 10. To the right is Swan. Out to the left is Lewis. Again, that flex defense as they pull the 2 linemen back off the line of scrimmage. They give us Blyer. He comes left. He gets a block. He goes across the midfield stripe. He drags a man with him as he goes down to the 48-yard line. The man he drags with him is Charlie Walters. Again, the defensive backfield coming up to make the stop. As a gain of 5 yards, 2nd and 5. And Jim, the tackles by the Dallas team all being made by their secondary.
That's right, but the thing that's impressed me so far, Ed, is the fact that they've been gang tackling. It's not just been a one-on-one situation out there. There have been several of the linebackers over there. The secondary men have been coming up to help out there. There have always been 5 or 6 Cowboy jerseys around the ball. We've played almost now half of the first quarter. Dallas leads 7-0. And now, Eddie, this is the first time the Steelers have been in the Cowboy territory.
And we've got Stallworth in as a wide receiver on the left side. We've got Lynn Swan on the right side. Bradshaw going back to throw. Terry Bradshaw back at his 45. He wants to throw long down the right side. A spectacular catch, but they rule it for Lynn Swan complete at the 16-yard line. The Cowboys Cowboys are arguing that Swan caught him out of bounds, but the referee says no, he caught him inbounds at the 16-yard line to the right sideline. Lynn Swan high in the air to pull the ball down as he beat Mark Washington for the ball. A 32-yard pass from Bradshaw to Swan. And that's that great concentration of Lynn Swan.
On that play, actually, Washington jumped a little bit too soon. Swan was open down at about the 24-yard line. Washington jumped up, the ball went down, Swan pulled it in, and then Waters came over and bumped him out of bounds. Washington just mistimed his jump there.
All right, the Steelers have a first down, golden opportunity. The Cowboys 16-yard line. The give is to Rocky Blair. Straight ahead, left side, breaks tacklers, goes inside the 15, down the 11-yard line. Good individual running by Rocky Blair as he drags men with him. Jethro Pugh was the first man to hit him. Pugh also dragged along before D.D. Lewis came up to finally put him away. A gain of 5 on the play. It's at the 11-yard line. Second down and 5 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are driving from your left to your right. The Cowboys lead in the game by a score of 7-0. We have 6:57 left in the first period. Out of the left side is Stallworth. To the right side of the flanker is Swan. Bradshaw gives to Harris. Harris comes right. D.D. Lewis is waiting for him. He goes by Lewis, goes inside the 10. Down the 7-yard line he goes. In to make the stop is Leroy Jordan and Dave Edwards. In with a key block on that play, Rocky Blair. And Harris has said many times that the man who opens the holes for him is Rocky Blair. And again, Jim, a short yardage situation. Third down, a little more than a yard. They've got the ball down to the Dallas 7.
So they'll bring in an extra tight end here for blocking purposes. That ball down on the 7-yard line. Bradshaw only with one pass attempt, one completion so far. That's put them down where they are on the 7.
Davis, Jim Davis and Grossman come in now as the blockers in the tight end situation. They actually use 3 tight ends in this situation because they put one of the tight ends on a wing on the right side. They send him back in motion. This is Bradshaw rolling right. He's going to throw around wide open. Touchdown! Bradshaw to Randy Grossman. The man on the wing. He hit Grossman and went out in the right flat, wide open. On third and short yardage situation, Terry Bradshaw crosses up the Dallas defense as he hits Randy Grossman on a beautiful call by Terry Bradshaw. A gambling call when you have third and 1, but nevertheless it goes, and when it goes, it looks good in that situation. 7-yard touchdown pass from Bradshaw to Grossman. Roy Gorilla is on for the extra point try that can tie this ball game. Dallas leading the Steelers 7-6. Here is the snap. Here is the kick. It is up in the air. We're waiting. It is good. Ball game is tied. Dallas 7, Pittsburgh 7. We have 5:57 left at the Orange Bowl. There's a timeout on the field. The score 7-7.
Who do you call when you want to send something across town? A local delivery service, right? Well, what about when you want to send something across the country or overseas and you want it there fast? Call Airborne. They're a delivery service, too. Airborne goes door to door like your local delivery service. The thing is, Airborne delivers by air, and they're worldwide. They pick up packages of all sizes here and Air Express them there, usually overnight. Airborne picks up there and delivers here, too. They'll even pick up there and delivers someplace else. So the next time that you have something here and want it there fast, call Airborne. They'll pick up your 5-pound package at your door today and have it delivered to any door in over 200 cities tomorrow for just $13.11. Similar rates on larger packages. Call Airborne. They'll be at your door within just 60 minutes. A 7-7 game at Ingles.
Steelers just went 67 yards in 8 plays, Jim.
You know, we came in here expecting a defensive kind of a game, a slug-it-out game, and somebody suggested earlier in the day that maybe this fires up the offense. Maybe they try just a little bit harder. They hear all this talk for 2 weeks, Ed, about the defensive play, and they say, hey, wait a minute, we're out there, too.
It's been a very interesting game. It's been a very explosive game. We have seen the unusual from the Dallas Cowboys, and we have seen the Pittsburgh Steelers do it with basic bread-and-butter play with the exception of the touchdown pass. Bradshaw crossed up Dallas by not going for the first down, but going for the touchdown. All right, Gorilla counts his men. He'll kick off for Pittsburgh. To the far sidelines, Dennison. To the near sidelines, Preston Pearson. Steelers will be kicking off from your left to your right on a sunlit day here at the Orange Bowl. Ed Ingles and Jim Kelly bringing you the action of the 10th Super Bowl. Here is Gorilla. Comes forward. He boots it. A high kick. Coming down to the right side, moving up is Pearson. He takes it at the 10-yard line. No handoff this time. He goes by one man. 15, 20, 25, 30. Out of bounds at the 34. Nice weaving by Preston. He went to his right, veered back to his left, followed his blockers. But the one man he couldn't get around was Jim Allen, who forced him out of bounds. And so the Cowboys have pretty good field position as they take over first down and 10 for Dallas at their own 35. Jim?
Good play by the Dallas special teams. They haven't had the ball outside of their own 30-yard line so far. They start now first down, 10 yards to go. The Pittsburgh defense digs in. We're tied at 7-all.
25-yard return by Pearson. Out to the right is Golden Richards. Off to the left. Here's Pearson. The setbacks, Newhouse and Pearson. The give is to Newhouse. Newhouse coming left, looking for running room. Crosses the 35, goes out across the 40 to the 42-yard line as he weaves his way by everybody, but one man he can't weave by is big Ernie Holmes for the defensive tackle position. Ernie Holmes comes in. Preston Pearson through the block that time. They got Newhouse some running room as the Cowboys move it out to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 8. It is 2nd down and 2. Mel Blount also in to help to make the stop. Cowboys now moving in a 7-7 football game. A lot of fireworks right off the top. Wide to the right comes Pearson. That is Drew Pearson. Golden Richards is in this time in a tight end position. Now they split them out. Now they go to the I. Front man is Newhouse. Back man is Pearson. In motion comes the other Pearson. Drew Pearson right to left. They give it to Preston. He goes over the right side and he gets running room as he goes out. Out across the 45. He gets the first down as he goes to the 48-yard line. J.T. Thomas had to come up from the quarterback's position to make the stop. First down for the Dallas Cowboys as they move the chains again. Out to their own 48. They're attacking from your right to your left. Steeler defense must be very careful not to come too quickly for fear that they will run into some razzle-dazzle. And the idea for the Cowboys is to try to create some hesitation in that backfield. Out of huddle they come. Split backs this time. It is Staubach back to throw at the 40. Has time. Looks, fires over the middle. Complete at the 45-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers to his tight end. Gene Fugit makes the catch. Glenn Edwards makes the tackle. But again, Staubach had time and he had the man open. Very close to the first down as it's inside the 45. They give him forward motion to almost the 43-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is apparently short of the first down by a yard. So 2nd and 1 for the Cowboys. Preston Pearson is out. Doug Dennison comes in. We see Dennison quite frequently on short yardage situations. Second-year man, 24 years old. Dennison is a setback with Robert Newhouse. They've got the 2 wide receivers out there again. To the right, Drew Pearson. Golden Richards is to the left. Steelers now showing a linebackers up close. And now out of the I formation. Dennison the deep man. Newhouse the front man. Give Newhouse. Quick hitter. He finds running room. 40, 35, 30. Inside the 30, down to the 26. It is Robert Newhouse on a quick hitter. Getting a key block from John Fitzgerald. The center out of Boston College. Cleared out the middle. And off went Newhouse for the first down. Making the stop finally, Andy Russell, the veteran linebacker. Pickup of 16 yards by Dennison. The Cowboys on the move. They have another first down at the Pittsburgh 27-yard line. In case you've just joined us, we have 3:15 left in the first period. It is Dallas 7, Pittsburgh 7.
Robert Newhouse, the man that stepped in for the fullback Calvin Hill. Calvin going to the World Football League, now of course not playing. And also in the backfield, Dwayne Thomas is missing. Dwayne not talking, not playing anywhere.
Only rookie of this Dallas offensive unit is Lawless, the guard. Here is Staubach again on that quick hitter to Newhouse. It won't go as far this time, but nevertheless, Newhouse inside the 25 goes to the 22-yard line where he's stopped by Jack Ham, the very aggressive linebacker, who gets some help from the safety, Glenn Edwards. A pickup of 5 on that same play. The quick handoff to the front man from the I. He goes up the middle, gets good blocking from Blaine Nye and John Fitzgerald. Remember, it was Blaine Nye who was one of the key men when Dallas won here in Super Bowl VI, opening the way in those days for Dwayne Thomas and Calvin Hill. All right, this time both wide receivers are to the left. Richards in the slot. It is Staubach as he gives the ball off to Doug Dennison off the left side inside the 20. Dennison driving very close to the first down. Again, Dennison, strong running back at 195. Powers his way down to the 17-yard line. That will be very close to the first down. Cowboys on the move. It'll be 3rd down, just short of the first down. Call it less than a yard. Doug Dennison comes out and Preston Pearson comes in. That's a change. They also put another tight end in. Billy Joe Dupree comes in at a tight end position. Golden Richards goes out. One flanker right side. Drew Pearson wide right. Double tight end from the T formation, the standard setbacks. Newhouse and Preston Pearson are the setbacks. It is Staubach looking at 8-man line. He gives the ball off this time to Newhouse, spinning off the left side. He may not have got the first down, but I think he got it. Newhouse spinning off the left side, met by L.C. Greenwood. And he's not a guy you'd want to meet in a dark alley, 6'6". You wouldn't want to meet Ernie Holmes in a dark alley either, and he was there along with Mean Joe Green to make the stop. Very close to the first down. Newhouse trying to spin. Newhouse a fire plug kind of runner. Not a big, strong runner, but he's got awfully good balance. They're going to have to bring the chains out, Jim, to measure on this one as the ball is inside the 18, closer to the 17.
On that play, Eddie, even though it was a running play, there was some hard hitting going down in the upper right-hand corner of the stadium here. Drew Pearson, 88, having a tough time over on the right side with J.T. Thomas, a little pushing and shoving. And they had started a battle earlier on that one punt return play. They were pushing and shoving out of bounds. Now the chain, and it looks like just about 6 inches, Ed.
Yes, Jim, I've got the glasses on. I would say it is less than 6 inches, and so Tom Landry must make a decision. Does he go for the first down with the score tied 7-7, or does Tom Landry go for the field goal? Tom Landry will go for the first down. They will go. Cole and Richards, Billy Dupree are in on a fourth down situation with about less, I would say, than 6 inches. Cowboys coming up to the line of scrimmage. We have 1:35 left in the first period. They will go with the I formation, a four-man backfield. Out of the I, front man is Newhouse. Out of the I, they come into a wing I formation. Steelers in a 9-man front. Staubach, deep give as he gives the ball off to Doug Dennison. He gets the first down inside the 17, down the 15. Angling off the left side, he gets the first down. Mel Blunt is there to make the stop. So is Jack Lambert. But they don't get there in time enough to stop the first down because Burton Lawless and Ralph Neely making the key blocks off the left side of the line for the Dallas Cowboys. 1st and 10 for Dallas. They have the ball at their own 15-yard line. The score is tied 7-7. We're under 1 minute in the first period. Again, the wide receivers. Richards comes to the left. Pearson to the right. Out of the I, the front man is Newhouse. Staubach, the quarterback, looking at a possible blitz. He gives the ball off this time straight ahead to Preston Pearson, but there is no running room. Jack Lambert, the wild man, the middle linebacker, the man they call the wild man, makes the stop for the Steelers at the 14-yard line, just inside the 15. So only 1 yard pickup on the play. Doug Dennison comes in. Preston Pearson goes out. So we're now faced with a 2nd down and 9 situation as they break the huddle. Coming off to the right is Drew Pearson. And in is Fugert now as a wide receiver, but he's only split out a couple of yards on the left side. Cowboys may be going for something tricky here as they switch into the I formation. Staubach fakes, gives Newhouse off the right side. He gets inside the 10. Newhouse goes to the 9, where he's, inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, where he stopped at that point by Jack Lambert and Jack Ham. Not much of a pickup. Again, the Pittsburgh defense are rising to the occasion. So as the gun goes off, ending the first period with a 3rd down and 8 situation for the Dallas Cowboys. The score is tied here. It is the Cowboys 7, Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Put your John Hancock on a John Hancock for your family, for your family.
There's a co-ed school in Boston without a football team, cheerleaders, or fraternities. It's the John Hancock Institute, where many Hancock agents come to learn the latest and best ways to help you and your family with life insurance, mutual funds, putting your kids through college, and helping you with your own tax-favored retirement plan. And today, more than ever, people need the kind of agent that can help them plan their insurance needs while getting the most out of their hard-earned dollar. And that takes a professional. The kind of professional that never stops learning. The kind of professional that has come to be known as a John Hancock agent.
Put your John Hancock on a John Hancock for your family, for your family.
Back at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida, we're deadlocked after the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Pittsburgh Steelers 7 and the Dallas Cowboys 7. Dallas getting on the scoreboard first, a 29-yard pass, Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson, and the Steelers coming right back on a 7-yard scoring strike from Terry Bradshaw to Randy Grossman. That's the first time in Super Bowl history that both teams have scored in the first quarter. Total offense, Dallas 38 yards passing and 44 yards rushing. Pittsburgh 39 passing and 52 rushing. So Ed, things just 1 yard difference as far as the passing attack goes, and 8 yards difference with Pittsburgh having an advantage as we expected there. The thing I don't think we expected at all, the fact that Dallas is able to move the ball so well against the Pittsburgh defense, and Tom Landry has been gambling now. We've got a 3rd down and 9 situation to go. The yardage pretty much dictates here, shotgun.
That's right. Staubach at the trigger as he loads it up. With Young, he has in the backfield along with Preston Pearson. Golden Richards comes wide left. Drew Pearson wide right. Is Staubach in the shotgun. The ball is at the 14. Staubach is back at the 19 waiting for the snap from John Fitzgerald. Looks like offsides there. There are the flags. Back goes Staubach and the play is stopped. Looked to me like the Dallas Cowboys, Ralph Neely, jumped offsides as he started to back up before the snap in a pass blocking position. And that is what the call is. The Dallas Cowboys now will have to go even further on their third down situation. First penalty of the ball game, and it probably is an important one at this situation because the Cowboys are knocking at the goal line here, but instead of a third down and 8 situation, they are now faced with a third down and 13. They're back at the Pittsburgh 19-yard line. Again, Staubach will go with that shotgun, Jimmy, but you can see the things that can happen in the shotgun with all the switching around, which the Cowboys do, which the San Francisco 49ers, when they used it, did not do that much shifting around.
Also, the Kansas City Chiefs used it for a while, too. Hank Stram, very innovative. I don't think it'll change the call, though, Ed. I think it'll just change the pass pattern a little bit.
I would think so. All right, here we go. Richards left, Pearson right, again from the shotgun. This time it is Staubach waiting for the snap at the 24-yard line. In motion comes Young. Low snap. Staubach has it back at the 30, looking, getting some pressure. Fires, almost intercepted, dropped by Glenn Edwards of the Pittsburgh Steelers down to the 15-yard line. The pass was intended for Gene Fugit around the knees. It hit him at the knee and bounced away as the interception was almost picked off there by Glenn Edwards. A big play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Staubach trying to hit his man in the left flat, but he was underthrowing out in the left side, and so now the field goal attempt must come from Tony Fritsch. With the ball at the 19, Fritsch will kick from the 26. It will be a 36-yard field goal attempt to put Dallas in front if they make it.
And Edwards there, had he been able to pick that ball off, Ed, well, he had nothing but about 90 yards of green, kind of musty polyturf.
That's right. Waters is holding. The kick is up in the air. It is high enough. It is deep enough. Waiting for the signal. It is good. A field goal attempt by Tony Fritsch is good. Puts the Pittsburgh Steelers in front. Check that the Dallas Cowboys in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 10-7 with 14:45 left here in the second period. So the Cowboys settle for the field goal. There's a timeout in the second quarter. Repeating the score, Dallas Cowboys 10, Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Oh, come on. Doggone it.
Hi, Chrissy. What you doing?
I'm trying to open up my camera.
Let me see it. You just better take it to a camera expert.
Take it to the camera experts at Kmart, home of the goof-proof, picture-perfect guarantee, where you only pay for prints that please you. Borderless, color silk, no smudge prints.
You like pretty pictures, don't you? And you like saving money, and you like free parking.
But I'm not good at any of those things.
Well, Kmart's good at all of those things. And if you're out of focus, or you got lint in your lens, or you cut your mother's hat off, Kmart understands. You understand?
No.
Well, if you bought a dog, you wouldn't pay for the fleas, would you?
Wouldn't I?
Kmart never makes you pay for your mistakes. Kmart is the saving place.
Cowboys go back into the lead, 10-7, a 36-yard field goal by Tony Fritsch. Tony all set to do the booting now. The Steelers get the ball back, and with 14 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the first half, we'll see what Chuck Noll and Terry Bradshaw have come up with. We mentioned the total offense. Dallas having a total of 72 yards in the first quarter. Pittsburgh 97. Franco Harris has rushed for 32. Here's Fritsch's kick, and once again, Ingles.
Mike Collier is the deep man, but will not reach him. It's a short kick taken at the 12-yard line, back to the 15, to the 20, the 25, out across the 25 to the 27-yard line goes Mel Blunt, where he's uprooted at that point. Blunt going straight ahead, not getting too much blocking on that play. Brought down by Bob Brewing, a member of the special teams, one of the 12 rookies for the Dallas Cowboys in that lineup. On that pass, Jim, that was underthrown to Fugit. It looked like Fugit also pulled up short on it. Possibly Fugit pulled the muscle on that play. We'll have to wait and see when the Cowboys go back in offense to see if he's still in there.
Eddie Fugit is nicknamed the Dallas offense, the no-name offense. He can't understand how they have the #1 offense in the NFC and none of their starters are in the Pro Bowl game.
That's hard to figure out. Bradshaw back to throw. His pass is deflected. It is short, incomplete. Pass too tall. Ed Jones coming in, putting his hand in the way. Deflected that pass as Bradshaw wanted to throw the bomb. He was going for John Stallworth. The pass floated like a ruptured duck around midfield stripe where it died. But you see the philosophy here, Jim. Against the flex, as Don Shula said, the best way to attack it is to pass on first down more than you would against the normal defensive alignment. And Bradshaw has gone for the bomb twice on first down. So
first down still the key as far as the Dallas defense is concerned.
Second down and 10. Got John Stallworth that is a wide receiver to the near sidelines. Here is a handoff and finally ruined as Rocky Blyer goes out across the 35 up to the 40. Blyer off the left side, getting a good block from Mansfield and Clark opening up the room. Again, Cliff Harris in the secondary makes the stop. They'll pick up on the play of 6 yards. Makes it 3rd down and 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, clad in their orange and black. They're moving from your right to your left. They have the ball at their own 38-yard line. The score in this football game, the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. We have 14 minutes left in the second period. Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer are the setbacks. Lynn Swan and John Stallworth, the wide receivers. Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw back to throw. He wants to run now. Bradshaw gets away from one man. Veers off to his right across the 40. Goes away from another tackle. Goes out of bounds at the 45 as he gets the first down. Terry Bradshaw very wisely. All his receivers recovered. So he elected to run. He scrambled up the middle, broke to his left, got by one man. And Mel Renfro was the man who chased him out of bounds, but not before Terry Bradshaw gets the Pittsburgh Steelers a first down at their own 45-yard line. Key blocks in the play by Sam Davis and John Clack, the 2 guards, clearing some room for Bradshaw to scramble for the first down.
Eddie, an important dimension is returned there. I think there was a question as to just how healthy Terry Bradshaw was and whether he'd be able to scramble out of the pocket, whether he'd be able to run the ball or not. He showed no signs there of the injury he suffered there in the Oakland game.
He certainly didn't, Jim. Joining us in the booth now, we have John Unitas, of course, the all-time passing great. John will add his expert commentary, but let's get the play on the way. It is Franco Harris finding running room across the midfield stripe, down the 45. Harris again changing directions. Leroy Jordan finally brought him down. Rocky Blyer through the key block, and the Steelers have another first down as they move the ball inside the Cowboys 45. Sam Davis again throwing the key block. And John, I guess you got to be impressed by the way Franco moves to the hole.
Well, Franco's a really fine back, Dick. He's probably the best fullback in the league at this point. He picks his holes good. The offensive line is blocking very well, and he's been able to pick a few holes that probably where he maybe want to go outside. Saw an opening inside and took it.
Stallworth is to the left. Swan is to the right. In the I formation is Bradshaw as he looks at the flex. The front man is Harris. Bradshaw back, quick pitch out. Left side is Stallworth. Stallworth trying to dance around, going to be hit for loss back at the midfield stripe. First man in there pressuring was Mel Renfro came on. And also making him to stop after Renfro checked him, Harvey Martin moving over from his defensive end. Didn't seem like they fooled anybody on that one, John.
No, a little bit. Back to the outside. Didn't fool anybody on the Dallas football team. They were all out there. The offensive team of the Pittsburgh Steelers tried to get out, do some blocking, but too much by the Dallas Cowboys.
So it's 2nd down and 15 for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they break the huddle. Got a change. Dave Edwards goes out. Tom Henderson comes in as a linebacker again. The Steelers from the I formation. Both backs out as Bradshaw goes back to throw. He's got a man open. It's complete. A slap catch. Stallworth caught it. Fumbles. Let's see how they rule it. They give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers recover. Lynn Swan, the man to recover the ball. After it was caught by Lynn Swan, he was hit. He dropped the ball after the tackle was made by Cliff Harris, but they ruled he was down before he coughed it up. And they'll mark it down at the 37-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be 3rd down coming up. John, that's one of those plays that people talk about the officiating.
Well, I don't know, Dick. I think I might have put up a little bit more of an argument on that one. It looked like he didn't have really control of it. To me, it looked like it was an incompleted pass more so than a fumble.
It sure did. But anyway, the Steelers are now faced with a 3rd down and 3 situation as they're moving. They're at the Cowboy 37-yard line. Bradshaw splits his setbacks out wide, and the handoff goes to Harris, but Harris can't get any running room. He does not get the first down. Franco Harris trying a misdirection play up the middle, but waiting for him and not being directed out of the way is Harvey Martin, the big defensive end out of East Texas State. John, it's a time for 4th down, and I would suspect, knowing the Steelers, they will not go for the field goal, but they'll go for the punt in this situation.
Well, I would think so right here. They don't have bad field position, but I'm sure Bobby Walton tried to kick it out of bounds somewhere around the 2 or 3 yard line, Ed. So they've been moving the ball pretty well.
So the Steelers face with a 4th down and 2 situation. As they huddle, the Grossman is in for Stallworth, and they are going to go for it, John. They're not going to punt. They're going to go for it with 4th down, less than 2 yards. Cowboys are coming up in a 7-man defensive front. One wide receiver, the fake to Blyer, back to passes. Bradshaw, he completes it at the 25 and then dropped. It was in the hands of Franco Harris, and Harris coughed it up. As on 4th down, the Steelers elected to gamble. It looked like a good play. The pass went to Franco Harris, but he could not hold it.
thrown right to Franco Harris. It looked like maybe Bradshaw should have gotten rid of the ball just a little bit sooner. Franco was hit almost simultaneously as he caught the football, which resulted in an incompleted pass.
Good play-action fake to Rocky Blyer before Bradshaw set up the pitch. Bradshaw has certainly been throwing at times when you might not expect it. That third down and short yardage situation, when he threw, it went for a, of course, touchdown. Timeout has been called on the field, and the score is the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
For a lot of people, a full-size car is a downright necessity. Buick understands that, which is why they build LeSabre, a car with lots of standard comfort and convenience, a big trunk, and honest-to-goodness elbow room for 6. Buick LeSabre, free spirit in the family size.
Free spirit really takes you where you've never been. That's how it's gonna be, your spirit's free.
You've worked hard to get where you are, and now would be a very good time to give yourself a little pat on the back in the form of Buick Electra, a car filled with room, luxury, comfort, the perfect place for you and your free spirit to get together. Buick Electra. Think of it as recognition for a job well done.
Free spirit really takes you where you've never been. That's how it's gonna be, your spirit's free.
10 minutes, 51 seconds left to go in the first half. The Cowboys up by 3 points. Dallas 10, Pittsburgh 7. John Unitas, Pittsburgh had the ball on the opponent's 40-yard line. They've faced with a 4th down and 2 situation. They've got a field goal kicker. They've got a punter. They go for it. About 11 minutes to go. Smart or not so smart?
Well, I think they've been moving the ball down the field. They want to try to continue the momentum and take the play away from the Dallas Cowboys that so far have been moving the ball well against the defense. I think it was a gutsy call at that particular time.
Gene Fugit is out as a tight end. He has injured his right thigh. Billy Joe Dupree is in there now. Newhouse is a sole setback, but now Pearson comes from the wing into a setback position. And Roger Staubach looks over the defense. He gives to Newhouse off the right side. Newhouse fights his way across the 35 out to the 37 to the 38-yard line. That's all he's going to get. Robert Newhouse. Let's pause now. 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
WCBS, New York.
Steve Furness in there, a defensive tackle now for Joe Green. Chuck Knoll said he would alternate them at tackles because Green is still not 100% because of the pinch nerve. So Furness is in for Green. He makes a stop, a pickup of 3 yards in the play. It is 2nd down and 7. Again, the wide receivers and the standard setbacks. They'll shift, however. They do shift as they move Doug Dennison, split him out to the right side from the setback position. Back to throw Staubach. Under pressure. Unloads complete at the 43-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. He hit Doug Dennison. The man he moved in motion to the wing. And it is good for yardage, but not enough for the first down because Jack Ham was there to make the stop. Jack Ham, probably, Johnny, the fastest linebacker in the business today.
Well, I think you see 2 pretty good sets of linebackers out there. I've always felt that the Steeler linebackers were the best in the game, and I think that is probably their strongest part as far as the defense is concerned. They have those 4 big guys up front who they can just turn loose, and those linebackers do an excellent job back on pass coverage and also reading the running plays.
Short down situation for the Cowboys. They have 3rd and 1 at their own 44-yard line. However, they have 2 wide receivers, but they'll operate out of the eye. Newhouse and Pearson are the setbacks. It is Staubach rolling left. He wants to throw. He overthrows this man. Intended for Newhouse. He overthrew. A tough play for quarterback John Unitas when he has to roll left like that, a right-handed quarterback.
Well, the safety came up and made a real good force on him, which actually made him throw the ball a little bit sooner than he wanted to. Very good play and very good diagnosing by the strong safety of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He came across the line of scrimmage and made Roger get through, throw the football before he was really ready to.
So Mitch Opes will kick for the 2nd time today. Got double safeties. Glenn Edwards to the near sidelines. Dave Brown at the far sidelines. They are down at the 10-yard line of the Steelers. Opes is back at his 30 waiting for the snap. It is a good snap. Here is the punt. Gets it away, but it's not a good kick. It's very short, low. Hits at the 24 to the 20, the 19-yard line. Dave Brown has it. He comes across the 20, and then he runs into a whole group of white shirts as he crosses out to the 22-yard line. And the Dallas Cowboys will take over there. Bob Brewing making the initial stop. So, for one of the few times today, the Dallas Cowboys do not start with ideal field position. They'll be attacking from your right to your left. at their own 22-yard line. We have 9:05 left in the second period. The underdog wild card Dallas Cowboys leading the Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7. Both these clubs are Super Bowl champions. The Steelers, of course, the defenders. All right, here come the Steelers. Coming out to the left side is Stallworth as a flanker. Wide to the right is Lynn Swan. The setbacks are Harris to the right, Blyer to the left. Again, the flex defense for Dallas. The give is to Blyer. On a trap off the right side, he goes across the 25, picks up 3 on the play. So it'll be a 2nd down and 7 situation. Defensive line making the stop in there. Davis and Gravel opening a little bit of running room for Blyer as we have a 2nd down and 8. Out of a huddle come the Steelers again. They send Stallworth to the left, Swan to the right. Setbacks are Harris and Blyer. It's Bradshaw. Cowboys fake a blitz. Bradshaw back to throw. Fires left side. It is deflected. Great defensive play on that one by D.D. Lewis. He was going down. John Unitas got his left hand up and somehow got that ball and knocked it away.
Well, very good effort by D.D. He's got up off of his feet there as he was going down, as you mentioned, Ed, and got his hand into it. Otherwise, I think that we may have had a completion in the first downer for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, John Stallworth was open.
John and Ed, there's been a lot said and written about the condition of the polyturf field down in the Orange Bowl floor. Johnny, you were down there just before game time. What's the footing like?
Well, I'm sure the footing is pretty good today. There's no water, it's not wet or anything, and we were walking on it. Of course, we didn't have the AstroTurf or polyturf shoes on, but it didn't feel that bad.
On 3rd down and 7 from the 25, it is Bradshaw with his setback split apart. Bradshaw is back to throw. Bradshaw at the 15. Looks like can't find it, but he's dropped for a loss. Bradshaw dumped back at the 19-yard line. Harvey Martin, the big, tough defensive end, crashes through, nails Bradshaw for a loss. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to turn the ball over, John Unitas, as the defense perhaps coming a little bit more to the fore here in this period.
Well, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are not a bad defensive football team. I believe they're the number 2 defensive football team in the AFC behind the Minnesota Vikings, and number 1 offensively. So you're seeing 2 fine defensive football teams out there as long as 2 good offensive football teams. And so far, it's been kind of a seesaw battle, but I think with Dallas having the upper hand.
Bob Walden punts, waiting for it and making the fair catch is Golden Richards at the Dallas Cowboy 49-yard line. Dallas will set up shop there on a short 32-yard kick from Bob Walden, the veteran kicker out of the University of Georgia. There's a timeout on the field with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
When you say Budweiser, when you say Bud, you said a lot of things nobody else can say.
A lot of things, like choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt. The Budweiser ingredients listed proudly right there on the Budweiser label. There are less expensive ingredients, but you won't find them in Budweiser. No way. There's a lot more that goes into the brewing of Budweiser than just ingredients. But it's what comes out that counts most, and that's the Budweiser taste. And that speaks for itself, loud and clear. Hear it talking?
There is no other one. There's only something less. Because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Johnny, emotion is something that we can talk about, but we really never know how it's going to enter the game until the kickoff. And I think that first big play that Dallas ran on Pittsburgh on the kickoff off the reverse gave Dallas some needed momentum emotionally. They might have come into this game thinking, gee, we're going to have a tough time moving it against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all of a sudden they found themselves in Steeler territory, went right on down and got a break and scored.
Well, it was a very big play, and I'm surprised, really, that Pittsburgh wasn't attuned to that. It's not the first time that Dallas has tried it. They've tried it 1 to 2, 3 times, I would imagine, throughout the whole season. And have been fairly successful with that, but what happened was that the outside man coming down just got taken back to the inside, and once he did that, once you do that, you leave your position, you leave that whole outside open for the man coming back.
Joe Green is back at defensive tackle for the Steelers. The Cowboys have Richards and Pearson as wide receivers, both on the inside. Richards is a slot. They're out of the I formation. Is Staubach back to throw. Great play action. He's got all day to throw. He's looking. He fires over the middle, complete at the Pittsburgh 42-yard line to Preston Pearson. Immediately hit by Jack Ham, the linebacker. But Staubach had all day to throw. Ham and Lambert make the stop. And it is not enough for the first down, but it's just short of the first down by perhaps a yard. But John, awful lot of time for Staubach. He could have taken a shower on that one.
Well, first down situation, Ed, and that's what happens. They've been running the ball mainly on first and second downs, and Pittsburgh has been playing the running type plays. There was a little bit of a play action pass right there, which actually froze the defensive lineman by the Pittsburgh Steelers, which enabled Roger to get back, and henceforth he has a whole lot of time was to pick the receiver out.
Second down and 1. Dennison in the I formation. Staubach has trouble with a snap. He fumbles the ball, loses it. Big pile up. Let's see who they give it to. They're waiting as the pile. They signal the Dallas Cowboys retain possession. Staubach actually had trouble twice. When he took the ball from Fitzgerald, he had some problems. When he turned around and tried to hand it to Dennison, he had some problems. But the Cowboys recovered as Roger Staubach got his own fumble recovery, but they lost a little yardage on the situation. It brings the ball back to the Pittsburgh 43-yard line, and the Cowboys are now faced with 3rd down and 2, and they're shuffling wide receivers and backs in there now, John. I guess with new plays for Roger.
Well, they try to keep Roger well-versed with what they want him to do out there, and just kind of calm him down occasionally. So don't worry about it. Let's get this next play going.
Newhouse and Pearson are the setbacks. Now they shift, but they're still in a split formation. Steelers show 7-man front. Staubach wants to throw. Drops back. He fires on the left side. It is complete. First down. Going out of bounds the ball. Staubach hitting Preston Pearson that time. Andy Russell, the man to cover along with Mel Blount. And one of the things before the game, John, it was said that perhaps Andy Russell was a little too slow to match Preston Pearson. If they got him out there in a one-on-one situation, despite the great intellectual ability of Andy Russell, I think that's possibly a situation that the Cowboys would like to have Pearson going one-on-one with Russell.
Well, they're not going to let that happen too often. The other linebackers certainly have the speed. They're not going to let Russell get one-on-one on a back coming out of the backfield. They're going to be rotating that zone that they have toward that weak or the strong side, always keeping Andy inside.
All right, Cowboys 1st and 10. Give to Newhouse. He comes left, but he's in the arms of Mike Wagner as he gets about a yard or two. That's all. Trying to go off the left side as he goes down inside the Pittsburgh 35 down to the Pittsburgh 34-yard line. A gain of about 2.5 yards.
And I think a pretty good indication of the kind of protection that Staubach has had. And John, you might like to comment here. The fact he's not had to scramble at all so far, and we've only got a couple of minutes left to go down this first half. He's stayed right back there in the pocket, been pinpointing his passes, good protection.
Excellent protection, and he's been changing the plays a little bit. You know, pass a little first down, run a little bit on first down, keeping them off balance was what he had to do.
Switch from the eye to the set formation. Young and Pearson are the setbacks. Here is Staubach back to throw. Staubach getting pressured, fires left side, incomplete pass. The man doing the pressuring is Jack Lambert. The pass was intended for Preston Pearson on the left side. He was incomplete. They're trying to set up what looked like almost a semi-screen or a little swing pass out on the left side, John.
Well, they had everything coming back this way and then tried to sneak Preston out there, but Jack Lambert, who actually was covering on Preston, he just kind of followed him right back into the play. And ball was thrown by Roger. He had a little bit of pressure on him and not sure whether he wanted to throw it or not. Seeing Lambert out there, decided to rifle to Preston, but Lambert was right there.
So the Cowboys are faced with a 3rd and 8 situation at the Pittsburgh 39-yard line. Jack Lambert has come out of his middle linebacker spot, as I suspect that the Pittsburgh Steelers are putting in a 5th defensive back. That's what they are doing. All right, here come the Cowboys. Jim Allen in as the 5th defensive back, and here's the shotgun. Staubach back at the Steeler 40. Here's the snap. Roger, deep drop back at the 45. Looking now, he's going to run, but he gets away from one man. He cocks that arm to fire again. Can't find it, but he's still looking. Now turns to his right. Throws it. Is complete at the 28-yard line to Young. He gets by Ham. He's inside the 25 to the 20. Out of bounds he goes. First down. Mike Wagner, the man to knock him out of bounds. And that looked like a schoolyard play, John. When did you get that much time to throw?
No, when you get that kind of time to throw, it really makes it tough on the defensive backs and also the linebackers to be able to stay with these quick, fast offensive receivers as Rodgers has had there. Looked like Rodgers was going to go down that time. He was able to spin out of the grasp of one of the defensive players of the Pittsburgh Steelers and find an open man. And it really makes it tough for those defensive backs and linebackers to stay with them when you do have that much time. It's going to be important for the Steelers to get that pressure onto Staubach.
Gain of 14 yards. First down. Newhouse pitch left. No running room. He's dropped for a loss. Robert Newhouse on a quick pitch runs into the outside linebacker. Andy Russell dumped for a loss back at the 24 or 25, and they mark it at the 24-yard line. A loss of 3 on the play. Previous play, I was amazed that Staubach was able to pick out Young because Staubach had been going left and then came back right, and finally he looked at the last second and then picked out Young very quickly out in the right flat.
Well, if you could quarterback like both these fellas are, you know where your people are or where they're generally going to be, and when that kind of a situation comes up, you want to get rid of it as quickly as you possibly can.
2nd and 13. Setbacks are Young and Pearson. Staubach wants to throw. He's back at the 35, but not this time. He is snowed under. L.C. Greenwood, who had a very close acquaintanceship with Fran Tarkington in the Super Bowl last year, and Dwight White. Both defensive ends crashing and pinching in on Staubach, throwing for a big loss. And I would have to think they take him out of field goal range on that one, John, because he gets dumped back at the 35-yard line. A loss of 12 yards on the play. It makes a third down now coming up. And about 25 yards to go with the Cowboys. And they'll load up the shotgun, but they're going to have to load it up with a lot of bullets on this one.
Well, I'm sure what they're going to try to do here is probably just pick up maybe 10 or 12 yard lines if they can, 10 or 12 yards if they can get down there within field goal position, rather than probably go for the touchdown bomb on this particular play. They want to try to keep it middle of the field and get good position down there for Fritz, who can kick the long ball.
First time Staubach has been sacked this afternoon. Here comes the shotgun. Roger Staubach waiting at the Steeler 40. Has 5 wide receivers on this play. Staubach drops back at the 45. Has time, but his receivers look covered. He still looks. Now he tries to run. He's hit by one man. He gets up and he's pulled down. Refusing to get out of the way is Dwight White. Again, White, the initial man in, helped out by Andy Russell on 2 successive plays. Roger Staubach is done for big losses. This time he's dropped back at the Pittsburgh 46-yard line. I think the significance of that, John, the shotgun they did get to Staubach, and that is not easy.
They got to Staubach, and they had real good coverage back down the secondary. What they went to was a double zone, doubling both the outside men and putting the linebackers on the tight end coming down through the middle, who did put real good coverage on all these fellas. Nobody was open, and they got in there to get Roger.
Glenn Edwards to the near sidelines. Dave Brown on the far sideline. Mitch Oops will do the punting. He wants to angle it for the corner. Fair catch being signaled for. And lets it go, and it goes out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It would have been better had the man, Dave Brown, who signaled for the fair catch, tried to catch that one, because by letting it go 39 yards, that's not the distance that really counted on that one. The fact of where it went, John, out of bounds at the 6-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they'll have to go the long way as they trail 10-7 to the Dallas Cowboys with 3:47 left in the first half. We might recap the scoring. Cowboys got on the board first. Roger Staubach passing to Drew Pearson for 29 yards. Then the Steelers came back. They tied the ball game on a Bradshaw to Randy Grossman 7-yard pass play. Tony Fritz kicked a 36-yard field goal to give the Dallas the 3-point lead. It is Lynn Swann to the right. It is Stallworth to the left. Terry Bradshaw goes back. He gives to Rocky Blyer. Blyer trying to swing around the left end. Can't find running room. Now he turns upfield across the 6 out to the 8-yard line he goes, and he gets bumped out of bounds at the 8 by Dave Edwards, the first man to hit him and right him out. That's tough, isn't it, John, when you're deep in your own territory and try to go with a wide sweep?
Well, you got to try to get the ball out somewhere where you can get some pretty good field position where you don't have to worry about getting caught back in that end zone so you can throw the football. And going with a sweep, you know, it's about half a dozen one and 6 of the other, whether you go with a sweep or a quick hitter on the outside coming up to the middle. If it works, it's good. You know, you're all right. If it doesn't work, you lose 1 or 2 yards.
Stallworth and Swann are the wide receivers. It is Stallworth on the left, Swann to the right. Out of his setback position, Harris. Here's Bradshaw giving the ball to Harris. He wants to go wide right, but he can't find any running room as he runs into a whole host of tacklers led by D.D. Lewis. The outside linebacker stops him out of the 9-yard line. So now the Steelers will be faced with a 3rd down and 6 situation. They put it at the 10. John Unitas, would you throw at this situation, trailing by 3 points, 3rd and 6 at your 10? You bet John Unitas would. Sonny Jurgensen nods his head, tells me you would.
I'd throw it all 3 down.
I know Sonny would. We'll hear from Sonny.
So he's got himself in a tough position right here. Then I'm sure he possibly might come out with it. Maybe he wants to run it and then just kind of try to kick it out of there. And you only got 3 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. But let's see what he does.
He's going to throw it his end zone. Terry Bradshaw wants to throw the bomb way down. It is juggled and caught at the 42-yard line of the Cowboys. Lynn Swann with a circus catch. Pulled down at the 36-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Lynn Swann made a marvelous catch. He looked like he had lost that one. Mark Washington was the man going up with him. It's Swann with that great concentration, John, how he hangs on to that football.
Perfect example of a fine receiver who looks the ball right into his hands at all times. He went up, both of the men went up for the ball. The defender hit it, and the offensive man came down with it. It was just perfect concentration, eyes on the ball at all times. The defender hit the ball and figured it was gone. He went to the ground. Swann came up with a catch.
Another big catch for Lynn Swann as they mark it at the Dallas Cowboys 37-yard line. They were blitzing too on that last play, the Dallas Cowboys. The Steelers are on the move, 1st down 10. Out of the 37-yard line. Setbacks are Blyer and Harris. Dallas Cowboys almost showing a shift now into a 5-man line to keep giving you a different look. It's Bradshaw back to throw. He has time to throw. Bradshaw looking down the middle. It is underthrown, making the dive down to the 5-yard line. Lynn Swann, the man of the day so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as their leading pass receiver. Mark Washington out of Morgan State, 6-year veteran, was covering Swann.
He had fine protection. I don't believe he was really throwing the ball for Swann. I think he was throwing for the underneath man. Was thrown over top of his head, and Swann just happened to be coming down on a clearing out pattern back to the inside. Was close into the vicinity of Swann, who had he made the catch, I'm sure that Bradshaw would have been surprised to see him there.
John, I would have to think that Dallas will have to do something more defensively, perhaps blitz their linebackers, and they did come with a blitz when Bradshaw connected up with Swann on that long pass for the first down to put the ball down at the 36-yard line. But I would think that Dallas must put more heat on Bradshaw. They can't give him that time to throw, especially with Lynn Swann out there.
Right. I think what you'll see them start doing is probably gaming the defensive lineman, the tackle in game, tackle game, tackle game, and then shooting a linebacker in between them is trying to confuse the blocking of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line.
John, anything surprise you about this football game to this point?
No, not really. I was surprised at one thing, that the Dallas Cowboys have been able to run so well against the Pittsburgh Steelers front four. They kind of picking on Joe Green a few times down there, who hasn't played, as you said, last 3 or 4 ball games because of a pinched nerve in the neck. And they used a quick draw trap on him down there 2 or 3 times in order to go in there for their field goal type score. And it's been successful for them. As far as the passing is concerned, I've always felt that the Dallas Cowboys could throw against the Steelers, and all the Steelers have not put a good rush on Roger Staubach except for the last series.
Because, John, when you blitz the Pittsburgh Steelers, when the Dallas Cowboys come with that blitz, they must play man-to-man coverage, and that puts Mark Washington on solo coverage on Lynn Swann.
That's right, and this is something that you don't want to do if you can help it, to give him that time to throw the ball to Swann. And with a single type coverage, I think that they have to fake it and, come up with maybe, you might even see Dallas come back here with a safety blitz occasionally, try to get to Bradshaw quickly, and more of a surprise type thing than anything else.
John and Ed, I think this is an important 2-minute drive now for Pittsburgh, because as far as the Dallas defense is concerned, here you've dominated for almost 28 minutes of football, and one big play could put Pittsburgh either in a tie situation or up in the lead.
Stallworth is to the left. Swann is to the right. We have a 2nd down and 10 situation, 1:59 left in the first half. They give us to Rocky Bleier, running room off the right side, inside the 35, cuts back to his left, goes to the 30, runs it to D.D. Lewis at the 30, and is dropped at that point. Gordon, Gravel, and Larry Brown on the right side of the line, opening up running room for Rocky Bleier, who is primarily a blocking back for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, except last year in the Super Bowl he did run well. So it's 3rd down and short yardage situation. 3rd down and 2 for the Steelers as they go into their 2-minute drill. The clock is running down to 1:30. They still have their timeouts left. Out of the huddle they come in a short situation. They put Grossman back in now as a tight end. In fact, they use 3 tight ends. Harris and Bleier are the setbacks. There are no flankers. Bradshaw on the long count. Gives the ball to Harris. Harris gets the first down off the right side. He fights his way down to the 26-yard line. He bounced off one man, ran in the arms of Leroy Jordan. Definitely the Steelers are on the move, but they're firing the clock, John. When would you go to call a timeout at this point, John?
Well, they've already called a timeout, which is a smart thing for them to do. It's a 1st down. They got to move the change, and I believe that Terry called a timeout there, giving the Pittsburgh Steelers time to regroup, get their thoughts down, maybe come over to the bench and talk to Coach Chuck Noll and see what he wants to come up with in the next series of downs.
So we're now faced with a 1st down situation at the 27-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys, with the Steelers on the move. Jim?
What do you do now, John Unitas, if you're Tom Landry? What are you saying to Leroy Jordan, D.D. Lewis and company over on the sidelines now? You've got 1 minute, 10 seconds left to go in the first half. You played most of the first half in the Pittsburgh end of the Orange Bowl here, and you're faced with a situation of possibly going out tied 10-all at halftime or trailing if they should go ahead and get a touchdown. What are you saying to the defense at this point?
Well, you got to get the defense together, pull their belts a little bit tighter, put a little bit more pressure on Bradshaw if perchance he's going to throw the ball down in there. And you've got to be careful to not go all out, get caught in a blitz and get caught in some crossing patterns where the big hole opens up and you can spring Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier through there. So you got to play a little bit cautious, although it's tough on the defense. It's even tougher on the offense because the amount of yardage you have to work with becomes even shorter, smaller.
We've seen Bradshaw go to Franco Harris once today. Harris dropped the pass, but it is a play which they use effectively. Bradshaw throwing to Harris out of the backfield. All right, the wide receivers are Stallworth to the left, Swann Swan to the right. Blyer and Harris are the running backs. Steelers attacking right to left. Bradshaw back to pass. Bradshaw running. Bradshaw in trouble. Bradshaw bounces off his own blocker. Reverses his field. He wants to throw. He does. Complete at the 17-yard line to Larry Brown. Brown fumbles, but they rule it's ball retained by Pittsburgh. They ruled that he dropped it after the whistle. The Cowboys are not happy with that one. They thought perhaps that was a fast whistle, but I didn't think that one, John, was as fast as the other one.
Eddie, a day of the mobile quarterback. Roger Staubach for the Cowboys, Terry Bradshaw for the Steelers. Things have changed, John, since you and Sonny were out there.
Are you trying to tell me Sonny and I weren't mobile?
You sure could use the 2-minute drill effectively. Here is the give to Blyer. Blyer trying to get the first down, does not get it as he goes off the right side. From the 20, he goes down to about the 18-yard line. Waiting for him is Dave Edwards to make the stop. John Kolb and Sam Davis on the right side making the blocks. Timeout Steelers as they have it at the 19-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys faced with a 3rd and 3 situation.
I'll amend that, John. You and Sonny didn't scramble by design.
Only for our life.
Yeah, but Johnny used to use up a lot of time back there. If you think about it, John was very good. He was not the most mobile quarterback, but people forget he knew how to get around back there and make every step count. Right?
You know what he did? You know why he took so much time? He was back there tying those high-lace shoes, and that took more time than the loafers now.
That's right. It's a little bit tough running on this hard stuff out there with them high tops, too.
So the Steelers taking a timeout to talk things over. Bradshaw has been to the bench to talk to Noel and talk to the offensive coordinator. Now he goes back with a 3rd down and 3 situation. We have 32 seconds left here in this first half. Bradshaw again returned to the bench. Of course, the situation is this. Terry Bradshaw wants to pick up the necessary yardage for the first down, but the clock is going against him at this point. He'd like to also get down more than the yardage for the first down and get a little closer.
I think defensively, Dallas very much aware of Lynn Swan and Frank Lewis. I think maybe somebody to keep an eye on here might be Larry Brown, the tight end, a favorite receiver of yours, Johnny.
Well, I'm sure that they'll put the linebacker on his inside here and take away that quick pop over the middle and try to make him go to the outside, force him to the outside, and put that linebacker all over him.
It is Stallworth to the left, Swan to the right. Blyer and Harris put far apart in a blocking situation, and Bradshaw wants to throw. He fires on the left side. It is deflected, incomplete pass. 2 Cowboys. First, D.D. Lewis got his hands on it. It was intended for John Stallworth, the wide receiver, and Mel Renfro of the Dallas Cowboys also got his hand on it. So incomplete pass brings up 4th down, and this time I think we'll see the field goal unit with Roy Gorilla coming on. Bob Walden will hold as the Pittsburgh Steelers will try to get the equalizer on a field goal attempt from the 26 yards line and make it a 36-yard field goal try straight down the middle. Roy Gorilla will try for the Steelers to get them even here with 26 seconds left in the first half. The lines are down. Wait a minute. The official calls time. Dallas Cowboys. Psychological, I would say there, John. With the Cowboys calling time, they want Gorilla to think about it.
They want him to think about it so he can stub his toes. He comes up to it. A lot of guys it bothers, a lot of guys it doesn't. Gorilla's been through this thing for, I guess, quite a few years now. Even still, you know, he might sit back there and think about what, hey, this is a $25,000 kick right here possible to tie this thing up, because we've got a lot of money running on here, and we've got to get that ball up and through the goalpost. So if he can think about it and get him psychological upset there, he may miss it.
John, did you ever get nervous and think about the money at all? I mean, you get nervous, of course, but did you ever really say this is for that kind of money? Does that ever cross your mind? Really? I don't think so.
It doesn't really, but it made to a field goal kicker because he's really not interested in the ball game except when he gets in the kick.
Sonny used to sit there and count it. He used to lay it out. Let's see, we got 10,000 here and 5 there. Sonny's going to get a chance the second half for all the retorts, all these nasty cracks. All right, here's Gorilla. Set for the field goal now. Time back in. It'll be a 36-yard field goal try straight down the middle. The holder is Walden. Cowboys are coming, trying to block it. Good protection. The kick is up in the air and it's on its way. The kick is wide left. No good. Gorilla. Apparently, he wasn't affected by the delay. And he certainly didn't kick it well. It didn't help him any anyway, John.
No, it sure did. He hooked that ball way left on the side. I don't think there's that much wind down there. I think he just was probably so anxious to get his foot into it, get the ball up quickly, they just kind of pulled it over to the left side too much.
It's like hitting a bad 9-iron when you're about 50 yards off the green.
Gorilla was 17 out of 21 in field goals, Eddie, during the regular season, his longest of 42, so that was certainly within range.
Certainly was. We have 22 seconds left in the first half as Dallas goes on offense. First down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Pearson, Newhouse, the running backs give Newhouse and starts right. Newhouse now cuts back over the middle, gets out to the 24-yard line. As apparently they're willing to run out the clock. Dwight White, the defensive end, is in to make the stop. pickup of 5 yards in the play as they walk her to the 25, 2nd and 5. They're going to let the clock run down. 5-4 Cowboys walking toward the locker room. So are the Steelers. So the first half of Super Bowl number 10 is history. The gun sounding, ending the first half with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Okay, this is going to...
Now another sports classic brought to you by the Izod Alligator. January 1969. The Miami Orange Bowl as the New York Jets face the Baltimore Colts. Football history is made. Joe Namath leads the American Conference Jets to their first Super Bowl win, 16-7. Now for your own classic in sportswear, look for the Izod Alligator. Whenever the occasion calls for casual, comfortable shirts and sweaters, it's time for Izod. Start your own collection of alligators. Look for Izod. Sportswear for champions.
Our country will be bidding for medals in the alpine skiing events, figure and speed skating competition when the Winter Olympics are staged next month in Innsbruck, Austria. This is Ed Ingles. I'll be at those games reporting directly from Innsbruck for News Radio 88 listeners on American successes and failures. Throughout the day and the night, from February 3rd through the 15th, we'll be updating you on the results with interviews and insights into the Winter Games. So join us here at News Radio 88 for coverage of the Winter Olympics.
Out in front by 3 points, Dallas 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. And we've been joined in our CBS Radio booth by the Commissioner of the National Football League, Mr. Pete Rozelle. Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you back with us again here in the Super Bowl. Were you surprised at anything in this first half?
I wasn't. I guess commissioners are supposed to puff, but, puff up the attraction. But I felt before the ball game that we were going to see something unlike many recent Super Bowls. These two clubs aren't afraid to throw. They aren't. I think the number of 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 pass plays in the first half more or less bore out what I felt going in. It was going to be an exciting offensive ball game, and I think that's just what that first half was. It might have been the best first half of best single half of football we've had in all 10 Super Bowls, in my opinion.
How about emotionally? What do you suppose is going through the minds of the Dallas Cowboys right now? They came in about a touchdown underdog, and some folks thought it was going to be a defensive game. Now Dallas more or less played pretty much in the Pittsburgh end the entire first half with the exception of the last 2 minutes. So emotionally, they now know they can play with the defending world champions. They lead by 3 at halftime. So what's going through their mind at halftime?
Well, they have to have mixed feelings. There were periods in that half when they saw their defensive line shredded by the tremendous Steeler rushing. And on the other hand, they obviously know that they can move on Pittsburgh too, particularly in the air. So I would say mixed feelings. I'd say both teams know that they're really in a ball game and could win or lose.
Well, we know we've got some talent down on the Orange Bowl floor. We've got some talent that is not playing here. Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson. And, Commissioner, we had the pleasure of watching you last night sitting in the front row at the Miami Convention Center. Seems like we've got some potential singers here in the NFL.
Oh, I got a kick out of it. I thought that the song that O.J. and Joe sang was really funny. I think that as my daughter said, maybe, they could carry a tune a little better, but I thought they handled it with great poise, and it was funny. Key to the Super Bowl and Mean Joe Green. I enjoyed it.
Commissioner, this is the 10th Super Bowl now. As we go back in the past, the last 10 years, what stands out in your mind the most? Where have we come in the last 10 years in the National Football League?
Well, obviously, I feel that from a Super Bowl standpoint, it's solidified as an attraction. And this has been the game that by far has created the most interest. I would think that your listening audience might be bigger than any you've had before. We've never had as tight a ticket game. It was just very, very tough here all week trying to get tickets for people that would fly in for the game. I think that on the field, our game has progressed tremendously. Our basic problem would be cleaning up the off-the-field problems, because I think that days like this are really what the public like. They like to see and hear entertaining football, and I think they'd like to see us eliminate the off-the-field problems of litigation, labor management disputes, and so forth. So hopefully we'll be able to do that within the next year or two.
One final question. I'll put you on the spot. Give us now your second half prediction. What do we look for? Who's going to win?
I think we'll look at the same as we saw the first half. Wide open ball game. My personal hope, of course, is that it's not decided by controversial play in the last 15-20 seconds.
And, of course, the possibility of sudden death overtime. What a great way to end up Super Bowl 10.
Well, that's, of course, what I'd like to see. We had 9 during the regular season. I think the Cowboys were in at least 2 of them. And that would be a fitting climax to, I think, a great ball game.
Commissioner, thank you very much. Commissioner Pete Rozelle of the National Football League, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us in our CBS booth is Mr. Art Rooney of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll be back with Mr. Rooney. We're going to keep it right here. Mr. Rooney, we were talking with the commissioner just a couple of seconds ago, as you know, and we'd like to thank you for joining us here. Your ball club played a rather interesting first half. I think maybe they got caught with their helmets down a little bit on the first play, the kickoff play. Did that catch your staff off a little bit?
Well, there's no doubt that it did, and I don't think our team played their real game the first half. I think that we're a better ball club than we showed, although Dallas is a good ball club. We came here knowing that they were going to be tough to beat.
You've been with this team now since the lean days. What stands out? Let's go back in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. What can you remember most? Give us a kind of a brief evolution of your ball club. You must have some tremendous memories.
Well, of course, we lost for so long, and it was very frustrating, and then along came Noel, and he made a winner out of us. We've been in the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years, and of course the game has changed entirely from the early days. It's a wide open game now compared to the early days when it was more of a strictly a blocking and shove and push game, and it's a much more interesting game now than it was then. Although I do believe a lot of the players that were stars then would have been stars of today.
How does it feel to be back here in Miami a year later after winning your first World Championship, after winning the Super Bowl the first time around?
Well, it feels great, but of course, I believe that the only one the people remember is the winner of this game. The team that comes in second, they don't, it's like they haven't been here. At least that's the way I always kid Max Winter.
If you could go down in the locker room right now and talk to your ball club, what would you tell them?
I don't know that I could tell them anything that other than just showing God to do their best.
I think that's exactly what we'll expect in the second half. We'd like to thank you for taking time out and coming down and visiting with us here at CBS.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It was our pleasure. Thank you very much. Art Rooney, ladies and gentlemen, our score at halftime, the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. We'll continue with the second half of Super Bowl 10, live from Miami, Florida, between the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers after we take time out to review the news at this hour. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Now another sports classic brought to you by the Izod Alligator. The 1967 NFL Championship game. The Green Bay temperature plunges to 15 below zero. With seconds left on the clock, Bart Starr sneaks across to give the Packers a 21-17 win over the Cowboys. For your own fall classic in sportswear, look for the Alligator on the Izod cardigan. A sweater combining timeless styling, proven quality, in a full range of colors. Start your own collection of alligators. Remember Izod, sportswear for champions.
How will the United States teams fare in the Winter Olympics? Will we have another controversy involving skiers and commercialism? This is Ed Ingles. I'll be in Innsbruck, Austria for those games, providing those answers for News Radio 88 listeners. We'll be reporting the results, the human interest stories, the controversies directly from the scene of the Winter Olympics from February 3rd through the 15th. So join me for coverage of the Winter Games from Innsbruck, Austria, over News Radio 88, where the sports is.
CBS News. The chairman of the Federal Reserve Board says the U.S. economy is on the mend, that further government stimulation would only serve to undermine the process of recuperation. Good day, this is Steve Young reporting on the CBS Radio Network. On ABC's Issues and Answers, Fed Chairman Arthur Burns said no special stimulation is needed at this time to speed recovery.
The economy has now developed a forward momentum. The psychology of consumers has improved. Consumer confidence is returning. The same is true of the business community. And I think what has been happening in the stock market is an indication of that. And I would expect consumer spending to keep rising. Our export trade is good, strong. We've become competitive with respect to the rest of the world.
Burns said that if the government does attempt further stimulation of the economy, the U.S. could face another recession. Lebanon's agony has now become political as well as military. Within the hour, Reuters reports from Beirut that Lebanon's Prime Minister Rashid Karami has resigned. His action plunges Lebanon into a political crisis, even as it tries to cope with the 9-month-old civil war. Karami is a Muslim. Late reports indicate fierce fighting is now going on in the uptown hotel district of Beirut between Lebanon's right-wing phalangist militiamen and Muslims. Early this morning, yet another ceasefire was shattered when firing broke out in a Muslim enclave in the Christian sector of East Beirut. The situation was viewed with such alarm by UN Secretary General Kurt Waldheim that he issued an appeal today to Lebanon's leaders to end the conflict. The National Enquirer today reports that the late President John F. Kennedy was shipped by the Navy out of Washington for sea duty in the South Pacific in 1941 because he was having an affair with a woman suspected of being a spy. The newspaper identifies her as a Danish journalist, Inga Arvad, and quotes John Kennedy's superior officer at the time as saying the Navy considered her a sort of Mata Hari. On the CBS News broadcast Face the Nation, Julie Nixon Eisenhower said today that Chinese Communist Party Chairman Mao Zedong is eager for her father to revisit Peking. Mrs. Eisenhower, daughter of former President Richard Nixon, said that Mr. Nixon has put Watergate behind him, is in what she termed a forward-looking mood, and is beginning to enjoy life again. Kathy Ann Buck and many other Pittsburgh fans gritting their teeth at this hour, not just because Dallas leads 10-7 at the half in the Super Bowl in Miami. Many of them are at the Yankee Clipper Hotel instead of the Orange Bowl because they found out when they got to Florida they were the victims of an apparent travel agent flim-flam. Newsman Lloyd Becker of Miami station WTVJ has the bitter detail.
No one knows for sure at this point how many Pittsburgh fans have been cheated out of their Super Bowl tickets. At least 500 persons are involved in the apparent fraud. Allegedly, it cost each fan $359 for a package deal, including the round trip from Pittsburgh to Miami, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the game. They bought the package from a group called Super Tours International. No one has seen any representative of the tour group since Thursday.
I'm ready to kill. I'm ready to cry. How can you put that all into one word? I can't. I'm disillusioned. I put my faith into, we're here for the Steelers to support them. And if we lose, damn it, it's because we weren't there to help them. How can I tell you that? The people in this room. Everybody, how do you feel about this? CBS wants to know. Does that tell you anything?
At this point, it appears that those Pittsburgh fans who came here to see the game will be able to do that, not from the Orange Bowl, but from their hotel rooms. Lloyd Beaker for CBS News, Miami.
This is Steve Young, CBS News. We'll return to the second half of Super Bowl X from Miami, Florida in just 1 minute on the CBS Radio Network.
My daddy loves me. I went to the zoo once with him. He tickles me a little. It's because it's a long ride and it's fun to go with your dad. And ate our lunch, and we had fun, and we played some games. When he lies down on the rug, I hop on him and I punch him. Then he'd be silly to me. We went to the park, and we ate some french fries and some hamburger. He does nice things and stuff. He's a tickle monster sometimes.
It takes so little of you to give so much to them. Give your children everything. Give them your time.
He should love you and hug you forever.
A thought from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons.
This is Jim Kelly for CBS Radio Sports and the CBS Radio Network back here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, where our halftime score, the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. And we're honored to have once again in the CBS Radio booth, Mr. Tex Schramm, the president of the Cowboys. And we were kidding you before going on. I thought when they ruled that one catch by Lynn Swann illegal when you were coming through the glass here after me.
Well, I'll tell you, those were two of the most amazing catches that I think I've seen in a long, long time. Lynn Swann is just an unbelievable athlete. And that first catch along the sidelines, it looked like we had it cold. And he went up and got the ball and some way got both feet on the ground inside. And then that last one just before the half, again, I thought we had the interception. The ball got bobbled. He's laying on his back on the ground. And all of a sudden, he's got it. There were two tremendous performances. And From a Cowboy standpoint, of course, I think it was extremely important that after he made the great play right before the half and they drove down into scoring territory, that they didn't score, because it would have certainly given them more momentum coming out at the halftime, coming out for the second half.
We talk about the word momentum here, and we kept relating to that first play, the reverse on the kickoff, and the fact that Dallas was able to start from good field position in Pittsburgh territory, and what that first score, the fact that Dallas got on the board first, did momentum-wise for the younger Cowboys. You've got 12 rookies here. 27 of the 43 players on the roster have 4 years or less experience. So the fact that Dallas scored and the defending world champions first had to be a big factor emotionally to them.
I don't think there's any question about that, because even though we do have a nucleus of veterans that play in a lot of the key roles, we still have a lot of young players that we're counting on very heavily. And to be able to get off and score against the world champions, a truly great football team, it had to give them confidence. And I think as you've seen, they're doing the best they can to take the game to the Steelers. They're not sitting back and waiting to see what's going to happen and in awe. They're playing an all-out offensive game, and they're playing a very aggressive defensive game. And I think that even in the second half, you'll see a lot more surprises from an offensive standpoint from our football team, because we felt all along that we were going to have to outscore Pittsburgh because they've just got too many tools going for them, as they showed in the first half. And so the second half might be just pretty wild.
And, of course, the man running your Dallas Cowboy offense, Roger Staubach, the man that is capable of turning third downs into first downs and touchdowns. And you've been a big Roger Staubach fan since way before he even became a Cowboy.
Well, yes. We, of course, were very attracted to him when he was at the Naval Academy. And after his junior year, we drafted him, and people kind of chortled as to what kind of a draft choice that was, because he had another year remaining at Navy and then his 5-year stint in the service, and so it's kind of a long-range investment. But it's as it's turned out, it's been one of the best long-range investments that the Cowboys have ever made. And I think it is significant to the two great quarterbacks that you have out there today in today's modern football, of the mobile quarterback. Both of them have made spectacular scrambling plays that are almost unbelievable, and this has been really an exciting half.
As we did in Los Angeles, we'll thank you for joining us here and wish you and the Dallas Cowboys the best of luck in the second half. Tex Schramm.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I hope we keep having you on us, because that means we're winning.
Okay. I guess that's exactly what that does mean. Tex Schramm, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Dallas Cowboys. It wouldn't be the Super Bowl without some Hollywood here. And joining us, better known to television fans as Wyatt Earp, Mr. Hugh O'Brien. Hugh, welcome.
Hey, Jim, how you doing? What a fantastic day, right?
What a fantastic Super Bowl it's been.
I think it's the best, and I've been to all of them. I think it's the best I've ever seen, certainly the best half.
Well, we talked earlier the fact that it's the first time in Super Bowl history that both teams have scored in the first half. It's only a 3-point margin at halftime. I know you're close to both teams. What do you expect to see in half number 2?
Well, I'll tell you, some stats are very interesting on both teams before this game started. Both teams have exactly 288 first downs for the season. That's how even they are in first downs. Both teams have a 39.4%, kickoff average as far as punting is concerned. I mean, they are so close in defense, it's unreal. And also, I think that it's shaping up, fantastically in Cowboys' favor, which, is the way I sort of went, from the beginning. And I think it's going to be a second half that I just hope it's as good as the first half. But I'm really, I think Dallas has surprised a lot of people, and I think that, it's just one of the greatest games in every way. The day yesterday and the day before, those folks that are out there, it was just raining like you couldn't imagine. It's been that way for 4 days. Today, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful. And God again is with Pete Rozelle.
I knew you were going to throw those stats at me because I saw you riding up here on the yacht earlier. You're out there
I love the game. I haven't played it a little bit.
You're out there with O.J. Simpson. I understand you and O.J.
O.J. wasn't out there, but I was talking about him. I did a film with O.J. He's pretty good.
That's a killer force. We've also been joined here by former Golden Jet for the Green Bay Packers, Mr.
Paul Hornung.
Paul Hornung, of course. Welcome.
Jim. Good.
We're going to be awarding in just about 35 minutes, unless we go into overtime, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And, of course, you played for that great man, and you've got some Super Bowl experience under your belt as well.
But, Jim, I think it's only fitting, especially the players who played for him and many millions of people who admired him, that the name, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, would be named in his honor. This game today, like you said, is one of the best I've ever seen in Super Bowl competition. You've got two great football teams and two real tough hitting football teams. I think it's kind of ironic, that they say that Terry Bradshaw's not too bright. He gets to call his own plays.
You said that. I didn't say that.
Of course, the reputation is. And here you got Roger Staubach, one of the brightest men in professional football, and he does not call his own plays. And yet we have almost an even football team. I think I think anything could happen. I think, Jim, if Dallas can come out throwing the football early in the third quarter, maybe get some points on the board, a big upset is in the making.
Well, it will be an upset if Dallas wins, and that's the way it looks like it may be now. But I tell you, to me, it's one of the greatest games, and I'm happy to be here. Jim, nice seeing you.
Our pleasure. We thank you for stopping by, and of course, Paul Hornung, thank you very much as well. Hank Stram was here a while ago. Have they announced that he's the new coach of anybody yet?
No, not yet, but look forward to it in the next 5 days.
With our halftime score, the Dallas Cowboys 10 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 7, we'll have the second half kickoff with Ed Ingles in just a moment.
First, I took my pictures.
Second,
I took my pictures to Kmart.
and then...
Uh-oh, looks like they all came out black.
Every single one.
Yeah, but don't worry. At Kmart, you don't have to pay for them unless they come out just like you want them to.
Too bad, though. They were pictures of angels.
Angels.
Girl angels and cat angels and dog angels.
Why didn't you take any boy angels?
Oh, well, I never seen any boy angels.
Take pictures of your little angel or your little devil or anything else to Kmart's complete photo department and take advantage of Kmart's goof-proof picture-perfect guarantee. You pay only for prints you think are perfect. Proof positive your negative is goof-proof at Kmart.
Kmart never makes you pay for your mistakes. Kmart is the saving place.
Jim Kelly back at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. Our halftime score, the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7, despite the fact that, Ingles, Pittsburgh outgained Dallas 194 yards to 98. Of course, the difference, the passing of Roger Staubach, 74 yards. Terry Bradshaw connecting on 107 yards as passing. But, of course, the bulk of that, some 63 yards, coming on that long reception to Lynn Swann. And speaking of long receptions, we've been joined by a man who completed a lot of those in his playing days, Sonny Jurgensen. Sonny, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. It's nice to be here.
We're getting set for the, that wasn't much. You say more than that. Huh?
Give me a chance. Give me a chance.
Okay. Sonny was here when John was up for the second quarter, and you didn't like that last call, either by Chuck Noll or by Terry Bradshaw, just before the end of the first half, that little down-and-out pattern.
Well, they had success working on Mark Washington. Swann made two big catches on him, outstanding catches, and to go at Renfro, he had one ball knocked down by D.D. Lewis, and he came back and ran the same type of pattern, a corner pattern. D.D. got back and deflected the ball. If it had not been deflected at the time, I think Mel Renfro would have intercepted the ball. And that's why I kind of disagreed with the call, that particular type of throw on third and short yardage.
In the first half, did you see any kind of a defense and weakness in either the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers or in the Dallas Cowboys, something that Roger Staubach, that Terry Bradshaw might be able to exploit in the second half?
Well, I think Dallas should definitely start throwing the ball, and I think they will throw the ball more. I think if it had come out in the beginning of the game throwing the ball, Jim, I think they would have had a bigger lead at halftime. They didn't come out. They elected to stay on the ground, and they did make the big play for the touchdown after the block punt, more or less, when the punter fumbled the ball. But still, they didn't throw as much as I thought they would. I think you'll see more of that this half. You have to be careful. You have to pick your spots throwing into that secondary. I was very surprised at the amount of time Roger got throwing from the shotgun. Had excellent pass protection in the first half.
How about the calling of the plays by Tom Landry and some of the decisions made by Chuck Noll? I think since the top of the game, it's been very obvious that neither coach wants to fall behind in this ball game.
I think it's very important that neither team get way behind in the game, and because of the type of offenses, if anybody could afford to get behind, it would have to be, you'd have to say that it was the Dallas team, because Pittsburgh, very conservative starting the game, didn't throw. The first pass that was thrown was in Dallas territory, and Lynn Swann made a great catch. We were right on the sidelines watching it, and great concentration. But besides that, Jim, he came down and he stayed in bounds, and he had to fight to stay in bounds there. It was a great effort on his part.
Well, the second half kickoff is coming up in just a couple of moments. In case you joined us late, you missed a whale of a first half. Pittsburgh found themselves trailing early in the ball game. Staubach went to work, a 26-yard touchdown pass to Drew Pearson, put Dallas out on top 7-0. Pittsburgh came back, tied it up, a 7-yard pass from Terry Bradshaw to Randy Grossman, and then a 36-yard field goal from Tony Fritsch put Dallas out in front by 3. Then late in the first half, Roy Girella missed on a 36-yard touchdown pass. And Sonny, at that point, Tom Landry did something that your old coach, George Allen, did, and that is to call a timeout just before the field goal kicker was getting set and make him think about that, make him stare at those goalposts a little bit.
Oh, I think it's just like basketball. Coaches do the same thing when a man is getting ready to shoot a free throw, and they call timeout. I've seen him do it 2 times in a row to make him think about it a little longer, and that's a thing that coaches believe in. It works at times. If the man makes it, he says it didn't bother me. And I'm sure that Roy Girella will say that that particular timeout did not bother him. If you remember the first extra point that Pittsburgh made, he kicked that one low and away and almost missed that one.
Well, in the spring, CBS Radio Sports has quite a lineup for you in a couple of sports that Sonny likes, golf and horse racing. We'll cover the Masters from Augusta National Golf Club and have the Triple Crown of Racing, too. The Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes, all here on CBS. To bring you the second half, Ed Ingles.
From left to right, Tony Fritsch booms one deep back at the 8-yard line. Taking it at the 8-yard line, Mel Blood. He's up the middle, one cuts to the right, goes across the 20, and is hit head-on at the 25-yard line and driven back on a smashing tackle as he brought it out to the 25. Blunt was hit very hard head-on by a special team member, Pat Donovan. Rookie tackle making the stop. So the Steelers go on the attack from your right to your left. They will start out at their own 26-yard line. They trail by 3 points in this ball game. Rocky Bleier, Franco Harris are the running backs. Stallworth comes the flanker to the left. On the right side, we have Lynn Swann. Out of the tee, Bradshaw sets him down, looks over the defense. Terry on the snap, gives to Franco. Franco finds a little running room off the right side. Across the 25 out to the 29-yard line goes Harris, as again he veers off, runs into Jethro Pugh after a pickup of about 3 yards on the play. Also Too Tall Jones in. Sonny, Harris has a great faculty of being able to go left and then slanting right or going right and veering left very quickly.
He has very quick feet, Ed, and he has the ability to cut back and find the open spot. He's not big below his waist, but he's very strong upstairs.
Here we go on a 2nd and 7 situation. It's Bradshaw fakes a play action in the inner line, pitches back to Harris, in trouble back at the 25. He's hit and dropped back at the 23-yard line. Franco Harris at a pitch out, trying to go around the right end, waiting for him. Too Tall Jones, and too much Harvey Martin. The big ends pinching and dumping him for a loss. Back at the 24-yard line, a loss of 5. And so now the Pittsburgh Steelers are faced with a 3rd and long situation. And Sonny Jurgensen trailing by 3 points early in the 3rd period. The big game of the season. Do you put it up?
I think he'll put it up. He has to be careful here. They've gone to the prevent defense. They take out a down lineman. They'll only rush 3 men, maybe come with Randy White, and we'll have to see what happens.
And they've got Stallworth and Swann as the wide receivers. They split the backs out. They send both backs out as Bradshaw wants to throw. In the pocket, fires down the middle, complete and dropped. In the hands and out at the 37-yard line, Larry Brown. The tight end had it, dropped it. He was covered by both Mel Renfro and Cliff Harris, who put the knock on him and made it cough it up. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to turn the ball over. Good pass defense there.
Good pass defense there. Sonny, I think there he went about 7 yards too deep. He intended the ball deep on the outside. He had Bleier cutting underneath. He had a back on a linebacker, D.D. Lewis, but he was beaten down there at about the 35-yard line. He went for the extra 7 yards and passed up the easy completion.
Jim, that looks like a maze when you're throwing against those 8 people.
Bobby Walden punts. It is away. Waiting for another fair catch is Golden Richards. Takes it at the 41-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. That's where they'll set up shop. And Walden got it out of there. Dallas, good field position to start for their own 41, first down 10. Sonny, what do you think we can look after that 34-yard punt for the Cowboys to do at this point?
Ed, they've had good field position throughout the first half, and they're starting here in good field position again in the second half. I think we can see some unusual things by the Cowboy offense in the second half. I think they waited till the second half to do this, not allowing Pittsburgh to go in and correct the mistakes at halftime.
Gene Fugit is still out with that thigh injury. Billy Joe Dupree is the tight end. The setbacks are Newhouse, the front man in the eye. Preston Pearson, the deep man. The pitch to Pearson. He comes left. Has Bly in front of him. Blaine Nye as a blocker as he tries to turn the end. He cannot try to go around that left end. He is smeared as he takes it out to the 41, the 42, back to the line of scrimmage, where Jack Lambert, the middle linebacker, is the first man to hit him. There's no gate on that play, Sonny.
Well, they only play a number of pass coverages, and most of their coverages, they are bringing up a man and doubling outside receivers, which they did then, and by doing so, they have good force on outside plays.
Lambert came up in a hurry, so Staubach faced now with a 2nd down and 10 situation. Wide receivers right and left. Here's a quick handoff on the inside man. Carrying the ball is Doug Dennison in as he goes out across the 45 out to the 47, and a quick hitter, Dennison off the left guard, going behind the blocking on that left side, but he ran into Ernie Holmes, who made the stop. So now Staubach is faced with a long situation of 3rd and 7, Sonny.
Well, I'm sure I've talked with Roger a number of times during the season, Ed, and he said that the shotgun offense has been a big plus for him this year and for the Cowboys. He likes it. He's back. He receives the ball about 7 yards, not too deep to allow the outside people to close in on him, and it's been a big plus for him. Let's see what happens on 3rd and long.
Drew Pearson is wide to the right. Wide to the left is Golden Richards. Staubach on the snap. A deep drop. Back at the 35. Steps up. He wants to throw it. Intercepted by the 24. J.T. Thomas at the 45. He's in the midfield strike. He's got blockers 40, 35, 30, 25. Down to the 23-yard line he goes. Pass was intended for Golden Richards. Picked off by J.T. Thomas. Fine interception by J.T. and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers on the move now. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
WCBS, New York.
Charlie Young was the man who finally pulled down J.T. Thomas. And there's a name, Sonny, we don't hear much about. J.T. Thomas, the cornerback of the Steelers.
Well, you've heard of the man on the other side, and of course, he forced that a little bit. He had a man open, but he didn't pick up the defenders on the outside, and it cost him.
35-yard return. Steelers on the move from your right to your left. Bradshaw on a handoff to Harris. Harris left side, dances around, gets across the 25, goes down to the 22-yard line. Runs into a whole host of tacklers. 3 men there to make the stop. Mel Renfro is one. Cliff Harris is another, along with Dave Edwards, the linebacker. So it is now 2nd down and 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they move to the Dallas Cowboys 22-yard line. In this ball game where the Cowboys lead the Steelers 10-7. We have 11:47 left in the 3rd period. This is Ed Ingles along with Jim Kelly and Sonny Jurgensen from the Orange Bowl. Here come the Steelers. Bradshaw looks out his wide receiver to the left. He finds Swan. Bradshaw gives to Harris. Harris right side, cuts back against the grain to the left across the 20 down to the 17. Runs into Charlie Waters, makes the stop. Gravel and Mullins made the block, and Harris running for daylight made that sharp cut with those quick feet, takes it down to the 16, and it'll be 3rd and 1, Sonny.
Well, here's a call. This is a very important play for the Cowboys, Ed, because they turn the ball over offensively. They have to make the play here defensively. They need to come up with a big play. If they let Pittsburgh get out in front, it's going to be tough for them.
3 tight ends for the Steelers now as they take out their wide receivers and they look at a 7-man defensive front row. They give it to Harris left side. He drags a tackler with him as he goes for the first down. The man he dragged was Mel Renfro. Renfro was there, but Harris pulled out his strong leg drive, pulling out of the arms of Renfro. Takes it for the first down inside the 15-yard line to the 14-yard line, where the Steelers will have it 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Lynn Swan, John Stoneworth returned as the wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At this point, Franco Harris has carried the ball 16 times for 57 yards. Steelers on the move from your right to your left. Blyer and Harris are the setbacks. The wide receivers are Swan and Stallworth. This is Bradshaw bootlegging around the right side to keep it, trying to get out the corner. He can't. He's hit back at the 17-yard line. Ed Too Tall Jones refused to let Bradshaw get around the end that time and dumped him. What did you think of that call, Sonny?
Hey, it's a call I didn't like.
I didn't think you would.
Simply for the reason that the quarterback ended up running with the ball, and that thing draws a crowd. I heard you and Unitas talking in the second quarter about quarterback scrambling and running around. With my body, you didn't do that.
You don't want your body to get punished any more than it was, right, Sonny? That's why you stayed around for a number of years to play, too. All right, second down, 12 for the Steelers at the Cowboys 16. Bradshaw has Blyer and Harris split. He usually has him in a split situation when he wants to throw. He's back to throw. He has Harris out. Here's a pass in the end zone. Incomplete, overthrown. Lynn Swan was the intended receiver, but I think the ball was way over Swan's head. It was a crossing pattern. Stallworth and Swan. Swan was the nearest man. Mark Washington was there. Bradshaw overthrew. What do you think? Throw it away on that one?
Well, I think he did, but the Cowboys followed they do things by tendencies, and that was a particular tendency that held true, and they did the same thing against him a couple of years ago. They came with a safety blitz then. Cliff Harris came all the way from his safety position, and they picked it up, but I think Bradshaw threw it away.
Blyer is out. Frenchie Fuqua in as a running back on third down and 12. Bradshaw back to throw at the 25. He looks, he fires out. It's deflected, battled around, incomplete pass. Mark Washington battling with John Stallworth for that ball. And Washington wins that one as he knocks it down. And so now the Steelers with a fourth down situation at the 16-yard line of the Cowboys undoubtedly will go for the field goal. And here's Tony Fritsch coming on to do the attempting from the 23-yard line. It will be Roy Gorilla is on to try. A 23-yard line. It'll be a 33-yard kick for Gorilla. Walden will do the holding. Here's the one where the Steelers can get the equalizer if they can get this one on the board. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It's up in the air. Gorilla must be the first half. This time he misses again wide left. So twice in a row, Roy Gorilla has missed. Words going on down there. One Cowboy very hot under the collar as he's being helped off by a teammate. The man who was hot was Cliff Harris, and the man who was pulling him away was Ed Too Tall Jones. A good man to pull him away. So again, Gorilla misses the short field goal. So with 9:29 left in the third period, there's a pause in the action with a score of the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Put your John Hancock on a John Hancock for your family, for your family.
There's a co-ed school in Boston without a football team, cheerleaders, or fraternities. It's the John Hancock Institute, where many Hancock agents come to learn the latest and best ways to help you and your family with life insurance, mutual funds, putting your kids through college, and helping you with your own tax-favored retirement plan. And today, more than ever, people need the kind of agent that can help them plan their insurance needs while getting the most out of their hard-earned dollar. And that takes a professional. The kind of professional that never stops learning. The kind of professional that has come to be known as a John Hancock agent.
Put your John Hancock on a John Hancock for your family, for your family.
Jim Kelly at Ingles, Sonny Jurgensen back at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. 9 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the third quarter of Super Bowl 10. The Cowboys up by 3, Dallas 10, Pittsburgh 7. And for the second time now, Roy Girella has been wide to the left side on field goal tries of 36 and 33 yards, certainly within range. His longest of the season has been a 42-yarder. And it's a situation now, and Sonny, I think that is a very important series defensively for the Dallas Cowboys. They had a big turnover, good yardage on the return. The defense held. They missed the field goal. They still lead by 3, and here again is Ed.
One running back. Now they switch it to 2. The setbacks are Newhouse and Pearson. And Pearson and Richards are the wide receivers. The give is to Pearson. Pearson off the right side. He finds Wingram out across the 25-yard line. He goes out to the 29, and he runs into J.T. Thomas and Jack Lambert, the big middle linebacker. Almost gets the first down. Good run there by Preston Pearson as he ran for daylight. Got a good block from the wide receiver Drew Pearson and also from the tight end Billy Joe Dupree. A pickup of 9, 2nd and 1. And that's the thing the Steelers do not want to see happen, is the Dallas Cowboys pick up yardage on first down like that.
That's a call you like to make all day, the 2nd and 1 call, Ed.
In the eye, the front man is Newhouse. The deep man is Pearson. Dennison now in as they give his hand up the middle, but not going very far on that one, but perhaps far enough for the first down is Robert Newhouse. He's hit by Jack Lambert, the middle linebacker, waiting for him. Looks like he got the first down. He did. First down, Dallas Cowboys. As they move the chains, the Cowboys will have a 1st and 10 situation at their own 31-yard line. They lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7. We have 8:20 left in the 3rd period. Cowboys moving from your left to your right. Pearson and Newhouse are the setbacks. To the right comes Richards. To the left is Drew Pearson. Steelers showing a blitz at the moment. Let's see if they stay with it. As they have a 5-man line. Give inside to Newhouse and a quick hitter. Robert Newhouse doesn't go anywhere because he runs into L.C. Greenwood and Ernie Holmes. And those are two people that Sonny Jurgensen would not like to run into anywhere.
I'll tell you, they have some great athletes on that defense. But just to redevelop what Jim was talking about earlier, Ed, Dallas had a great big series that last time. Pittsburgh wasn't able to take advantage of that turnover, and that could be the key to this football game.
2nd and 10 for the 31 for the Cowboys as they put Dennison in now as a setback. He replaces Pearson. Here is Staubach on the draw play to Newhouse off the left side across the 35 out to the 36-yard line. Newhouse gets some yardage, but waiting for him, Jack Lambert, Mike Wagner make the stop. He does not get the first down. As that time we go to the draw, and that's the first time today, Sonny, we have seen the draw play. On obvious passing situations, both quarterbacks, Bradshaw and Staubach, have done the obvious. They've thrown.
It was a good call because Pittsburgh does get a little wide. Their defensive ends, Greenwood and White, widen out. White that particular time took an outside rush, and they had the hole, and Newhouse ducked through it.
It is 3rd down and 5, and I would suspect that Roger Staubach will load up the shotgun, but he's in a T right now. They got to switch. They stay in the T. They split the backs out. Staubach dropping back to throw. Roger scrambling up the middle as he's in trouble. Comes across the 35 out to the 40. He falls forward very, very close to the first down at the 41-yard line. Jack Lambert, Steve Furness in there waiting to make the stop on Staubach, but Roger was already looking for that polyturf before they could get to him. He wanted to get enough for the first down. It will be very close. Furness is in for Joe Green. I would have to say that Joe Green has not had an all-star day to this point, obviously handicapped by the injuries. The Dallas Cowboys do not make the first down. They will have to give it away. They'll have to punt it away on a 4th down situation coming up from their own 41-yard line. And we have left here in the Orange Bowl 8 minutes and 36 seconds. Dave Brown is a deep man for the Pittsburgh Steelers as he backs up to the 15-yard line. And Glenn Edwards is the short man. Now the chain gang has been called on. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys wanted a measurement. They're getting it, and they're short by at least a half a yard. So the official's judgment is confirmed by the chains which are stretched.
Sonny, at this point in the ball game, do the Cowboys have to be a little concerned about tightening up offensively? Don't they still have to stay with what's been working for them so far in the first half, not just run 3 plays into the line and then punt? I mean, they've got to stay with it. They need some more points, right?
They certainly do, Jim. I don't think they can depend on that 3-point lead that they have. And I think field position there wasn't what they wanted it to be. They started from their own 20, and they just wanted to be careful with it backed up a little bit.
Brown and Edwards are the deep men. Here's the kick by Oops as he kicks it away. A high booming kick at the 15-yard line. It is taken by Brown. He's at the 20, 24, and that's as far as he goes. He runs into a host of white shirts at the 24-yard line, and that's where the Pittsburgh Steelers will take over, 1st and 10. You might be interested in this one, Sonny, and we'll get to that in a moment because there's a timeout on the field with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Isn't it nice to know you're free, to see the things you want to see, to touch the heights you dare to reach, to know you're all that you can be.
You seem to be in a hurry, sir.
Yes, I am.
You are in a hurry?
Oh, yes.
Well, no doubt you're rushing down to buy a Buick Electra because you know that Electra has the kind of ride and comfort Buick's famous for.
That's right.
And because you know it's America's 2nd largest selling full-size luxury car.
You got it.
So you're hurrying because you want to get there before the Electras are all gone.
That's very good. How did you know I was going to buy a Buick Electra?
Well, it was on the shopping list you dropped back there, you see. Dozen eggs, quart of milk, Buick Electra.
Son of a gun, I forgot the pistachio nuts.
That's not on the list.
Well, I forgot them anyhow.
Free spirit, Buick on the wings of the wind. How it gonna be your spirits free.
Superdome on Monday night, January 26th.
Back at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida, 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Cowboys sitting on a 3-point lead, 10-7 over the defending world champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw at the helm will start first down, 10 yards to go on his own 24-yard line with his club down by 3 points. And Sonny, Bradshaw has now missed on his last 5 passes, so I don't think he'll get gun shy at this point, but it's certainly a fine tribute to the Dallas defense.
It certainly is. They're playing a tremendous football game.
Terry Bradshaw has Blyer and Harris behind him. The give is to Franco. Franco trying to go over the middle, gets a little running room across the 25 out to the 27-yard line. He runs into Leroy Jordan, a 13-year vet, 34 years old, Alabama. He said he was too small to play this game. 13 years later, he hasn't grown any except in stature among his peers, right, Sonny?
And he's a lot smaller now, Ed. You know, they list him at 221 pounds. Talking with him, he weighs 205 pounds, playing middle linebacker.
Yes, I talked to him earlier in the week. He does look awfully small for the job. 2nd down and 6 from the 27 for the Steelers. They have both wide receivers on the right side. Bradshaw rolls right, looking to throw. Fires out on the right side. It is complete at the 40-yard line. And out of bounds goes the receiver. Pass is complete. And that'll be good enough for the first down. Lynn Swan again in the air to take that one down. With him was Mark Washington, a gain of 12 yards. Washington getting a workout. And Sonny, they went to the right side. They showed the play. You had an idea what was coming, and it still worked.
Well, they ran a square-out pattern, and again, they had the success working on Washington, not Renfro's side. The great cornerback that Mel Renfro is, you gain some respect, and people tend to stay away from you.
And Lynn Swan is lined up on the left side as Bradshaw gives it to Blyer this time, and a misdirection play off the right side across the 40 out to the 43 goes Rocky Blyer. Rocky Blyer, primarily a blocker for Franco Harris, is stopped by Leroy Jordan. Also helping out is Edwards. A gain of the play of 3. It'll make it 2nd down and 7 for the Steelers at their own 42, moving from your right to your left. Recapping the scoring in this game, Tony Fritsch kicked a 36-yard field goal to give Dallas the lead. Before that, Bradshaw hooked up with Grossman on a 7-yarder, and the Cowboys first on the board. Staubach to Drew Pearson with a 29-yard pass. They give is to Franco. Harris breaks 1 tackler, 2 tacklers, fights his way across the 45 out to the 47. Franco did not pick up the first down, but he got good blocking from John Kolb and Jerry Mullins. Cliff Harris again from the secondary to make the stop. Sonny, Cliff Harris has made a lot of tackles today, coming out of his position for that secondary as a free safety. What does that tell you?
He's an aggressive free safety. He likes to be in on the play. He made a great short yardage play in the first half on Franco again, breaking up a pass pattern. I'm still surprised, Ed, that Bradshaw isn't throwing on first down, because against the flex, they sacrifice pass rush.
3rd and 2. Both flankers are out as Bradshaw goes back to throw on 3rd and 2. Shoots it over the middle. Incomplete at the 47-yard line, intended for Larry Brown. Brown is looking for a flag for pass interference, but he's not going to get it. And the man in there again, Charlie Waters, who plays a tough football too, out of Clemson, 6-year man, 27 years old. So the Steelers have stopped by the Cowboys with 4:13 left now in the third period, and a game in which the Dallas Cowboys lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7.
You mentioned penalty flags. The game remarkably free of any infractions. Pittsburgh not penalized at all in the first half. The Cowboys just 1 penalty for 5 yards. And so far, none of those marginal calls, Sonny, that we've seen so often this year.
Bobby Walden punts it, waiting for it is Golden Richards with a fair catch back at the 17-yard line. And he had plenty of time actually to run that one back, Sonny. He had people coming on him, but he had a good 5 yards when he made the catch with nobody in the neighborhood.
That's a predetermined thing, Ed. When they try to block the punt, they send all their people. They sacrifice the wall. He has no blocking. He does it even though he has room to catch it. He wants to catch it. Be careful with the ball, which he did then.
There's a pause in the action with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Who do you call when you want to send something across town? A local delivery service, right? Well, you want to send something across the country or overseas, you want it there fast, call Airborne. They're a delivery service, too. Airborne goes door to door like your local delivery service. The thing is, Airborne delivers by air, and they're worldwide. They pick up packages of all sizes here and express them there, usually overnight. Airborne picks up there and delivers here, too. They'll even pick up there and deliver someplace else. So the next time you have something here and want it there fast, call Airborne. They'll pick up your 5-pound package at your door today and have it delivered to any door in over 200 cities tomorrow for just $13.11. Similar rates on larger packages. Call Airborne. They'll be at your door within just 60 minutes.
Plenty of action coming up on the CBS Radio Network sports schedule this year. We'll start off with the Winter Olympics coverage from Innsbruck, Austria. I'll be there February 4th through the 15th for the games, and you can hear my reports on the CBS Radio Network. So the shadows begin to creep in from the West End now as the Dallas Cowboys go on offense. First down and 10. Deep in their own territory, and if Roger Staubach throw here, Sonny, with a 3-point lead deep in your own territory, third period, late in the third period?
I think he will, though. I think we'll see some kind of play action here. Still, I think he needs to be careful with the ball backed up. They got away with a big defensive effort early on the turnover. He's going to be careful with the football. You can't put it up too much against that great secondary.
First down and 10. Newhouse and Dennison are the setbacks. At the 18-yard line, the Cowboys with Richards and Pearson, the wide receivers. The handoff goes to Newhouse off the right side. He goes across the 20 out to the 23-yard line, breaking one tackler, but he couldn't break L.C. Greenwood, Jack Lambert, and Jack Hamm. That's just too much to try to get away from. But a nice gain on a first down play, a gain of 6 on the play, Sonny. Puts Roger with a 2nd and 4 situation at his own 24-yard line. A situation where he might want to go in the air on this because Pittsburgh may be thinking run. The wide receivers are Drew Pearson out to the right, Golden Richards to the left, out of the eye, in motion, right to left comes Pearson. He's way out on the left side now. Staubach gives the second man through. It is Preston Pearson off the left side across the 25 out to the 26-yard line he goes. Steve Furness, Ernie Holmes, and Greenwood all in to make the stop. Furness filling in for Greenwood, who's, of course, not playing up to the way he was before that pinched nerve injury in the neck. Sonny, 3rd and a yard for the Cowboys now.
Big play again, Ed. If they don't make the first down here, if they attempt to run the ball, they're going to have to kick it away again, and this is something that's playing right into the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We might see a little play action here. They've thrown the ball. Both quarterbacks have thrown the ball well on 3rd and short yards today.
Double tight ends, only one wide receiver set out to the right side. Out of the tee, the setbacks are split. The give to Newhouse. He did not get the first down. Newhouse trying the left side, but he had no room at all. He was stopped up on the play by Andy Russell. The outside linebacker came through to make the hit.
Ed and Sonny, I'm curious now if we're not seeing a slight change in momentum, if things aren't going more toward the Pittsburgh Steeler end and against the Cowboys. Earlier, the Cowboys winning the war down in the pits, controlling the line of scrimmage, moving the ball pretty much as they wanted to. You get the idea now that the Pittsburgh defense is doing what they've done all season long. They're starting to dig in, and they're going to come up with a big play to set that offense up.
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments offensively. They did make the first down, but it was very close and a big play for the Cowboys to keep this drive alive here. But I agree with you, Jim. They just are starting to sit on it a little bit. I think that Landry just wants to get a little better field position before he goes to the finesse type of offense that he's famous for.
Roger hasn't put it up since that last interception, Sonny.
That's right. A lot of quarterbacks have that tendency to sit on it.
He's been dumped 3 times today, has Staubach. Right, here's a trap play on the left side. Preston Pearson trying to find running room, gets out across the 30 to the 31-yard line as he did a little jitterbugging in there, trying to get room. But you don't get too much room when you run it at White, and also Mike Wagner, the safety. A pickup of 2. It is 2nd down and 8. Sonny, we are seeing the Cowboys going to a more conservative offense as they're counting on the blocking on the left side of Ralph Neely and Burton Lawless. Lawless, the rookie, seems to have done rather well today. It's hard to tell from up here about the interior lineman, but he seems to have acquitted himself rather well against Ernie Holmes. All right, here it is now 2nd down and 8. Out of the tee, they switch into the eye. The deep man is Dennison. The front man is Newhouse. Double receivers left side. Here's Staubach back to throw. Has time. Fires out the left side. It is complete at the 35-yard line. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line is Robert Newhouse. With him is Andy Russell and Mel Blunt. As Staubach goes back to the air, picks up the yardage close to the first down.
And on the pass, the first pass he's thrown since the interception, he went to a relatively safe pass, Sonny. Not something up the middle, something that could be deflected, maybe picked off the sideline, so if the man's covered, you throw it away.
First down, Cowboys, gentlemen, as they move again. Sonny?
You know, Jim, when you think about it, we said that he hadn't thrown in the last 5 or 6 plays. When you consider the fact that Tom Landry is calling the play, then he's thinking that maybe Roger doesn't want to throw. He's calling the running play, and it may have something to do with that. He called one then, he called a safe pattern.
1st and 10 for the 39 for the Cowboys. Staubach back to throw again. In trouble, scrambling up the middle at the 35. He's got a couple of Steelers coming at him. He's dumped as he goes across the 40, and a flag is thrown. Jack Lambert made the initial hit. A flag is thrown. As Roger Staubach scrambling up the middle. Andy Russell also in to make the hit. Staubach scrambled for several yards up the middle, found his receivers covered on that one.
I think it called a holding on Robert Newhouse, was trying to fend off Andy Russell, and I think they caught him kind of blocking behind. I think they're going to call clipping.
That they are. It's either that or a holding penalty against Ralph Neely, possibly, Sonny, is one of the preliminary signals that we get here. But either way, the Cowboys are going to have to spin their wheels and go backwards just when they seem to be gaining some momentum by moving the ball twice for first down. The clipping is the call, and the clip penalty against the Cowboys. And that's the first clip of the day we've had. The ball 15 yards further back from the infraction puts it back at the Dallas 24-yard line. By Dallas, they must go the long way now, Sonny, with a first down situation and about 24 yards to go.
This is when you used to look to the sidelines, Ed. When you get into long yardage situations, and Lombardi would say, don't look for me. I didn't get you in that position. You make the call yourself.
Robert Newhouse put him in that position. He was the man who clipped. So here comes Staubach. Get a first down and long yardage situation out of the tee. Wide receiver right, wide receiver left. Richards on the right, Pearson on the left. Here's Staubach, play action, rolling right, looking. He has a man open, but Rogers still looking. Roger now elects to run across the 25, 30, out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Roger Staubach scrambling, and the man who made him go out was Dwight White out of East Texas State. Rayfield Wright had given a good block, and Charlie Young to get Staubach some time. He bought some time, but could not find the receivers, and wisely, I guess, in that situation, Sonny, you would run with the ball if you can run.
If you can get to the sidelines.
Now to the 32-yard line, so it's 2nd and 17 now for the Cowboys. And this, of course, is a dangerous situation, isn't it, Sonny?
It certainly is. They realize you're either going to run the draw, the screen, or you're going to put it up. And he put himself in this position, not Roger so much, but the Cowboys did, and they elect to run the draw.
They ran very conservatively that time, and they tried the little draw play to Robert Newhouse up the middle, but it didn't go anywhere because White and Lambert were there along with Steve Furness as they went for a quick hitter, which was not quite the draw play. The draw would be Staubach going back deeper to hand off. He instead tried the quick hitter up the middle, picked up only a yard. It's out to the 33, and so it's now a 3rd down and 16 situation. It'll be interesting, Sonny, if they go with the shotgun. That will be a tip-off, I think, on Landry's thinking at this point. If he does not go with the shotgun, he'll be going with a conservative straight tee. If he goes with the shotgun, it proves the Cowboys are still going with their game plan. Here they come with double receivers on the right side and a wide man to the left. They've got 3 receivers. Here's the shotgun with Staubach waiting back at the 28 for the snap. Roger has it. Roger drops back at the 22-yard line. He looks, he fires on the left side. It is complete at the 45-yard line, out to the 46-yard line. It is not enough for the first down, however. Mel Blunt was there to make the stop, but Pearson made the catch. Preston Pearson pulling it in, but it's short on the first down. From the shotgun, it's out at the 47-yard line. They will come up about a yard and a half short of the first down. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Oh, come on. Doggone it. Hi, Chrissy, what you doing? I'm trying to open up my camera. Let me see it. You just better take it to a camera expert.
Take it to the camera experts at Kmart, home of the goof-proof, picture-perfect guarantee, where you only pay for prints that please you. Borderless, color silk, no smudge prints.
You like pretty pictures, don't you? And you like saving money, and you like free parking. But I'm not good at any of those things. Well, Kmart's good at all of those things. And if you're out of focus, or you got lint in your lens, or you cut your mother's hat off, Kmart understands. You understand? No. Well, if you bought a dog, you wouldn't pay for a fleece, would you? Wouldn't I?
Jim Kelly at Ingles and Sonny Jurgensen back at the Orange Bowl. We've got 15 minutes left in regulation play. We have a 10-7 ball game in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. And when action resumed, Tom Landry and company faced with 4th down, 2 yards to go from just about the midfield, about the 48-yard line, their own 48. And Sonny, again, the situation now, as far as the Cowboys are concerned offensively, of course, they were hurting that drive by the 15-yard clipping penalty. But if they don't get something going, or at least get the ball down into Pittsburgh's end, you still get the feeling that Pittsburgh defense is going to do something. They've done it all year long.
They have, Jim, and that last completion by Staubach picked up about 15 yards, and I think it was an important completion because it gets them up to midfield, and now on the punt, it will change the field position. Before, Pittsburgh had field position on Dallas. Now punting from about their 35-yard line, they can put back Pittsburgh up, which is important to keep Pittsburgh backed up, hope for a turnover, hope for a mistake, and take advantage of it.
From the 32-yard line is Mitch Upps, the deep man. To the far sidelines, Edwards. To the near sidelines, Brown. They are back at the 10. High snap, but Upps will get plenty of time to get it away. Up comes the ball, bouncing at the 20. It is fielded at the 17-yard line. Fumble, but the Steelers recovered. I never expected the Steeler man to try to field that one, Brown, because the ball was bouncing around. Cowboys were there. And the man who almost came up with it was Benny Barnes of the Dallas Cowboys. He was right around it with a J.T. Thomas also around the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They recover and keep it at their own 17-yard line. Thomas was the man who fell on it, a 36-yard punt. The Brown coughed up and almost put the Steelers in a very serious situation. Now the Steelers must go the long way from their own 17. Back to pass is Bradshaw. Bradshaw in trouble, looking. Bradshaw running back at the 7. Bradshaw rolls right. Bradshaw throws. Complete to Franco Harris, 45, 40. He's out in the open, but they grew, but he stepped out. As Franco slows down, Franco was out in the open, but you could tell he knew that he had stepped out because he applied the brake down at the 40-yard line, but it is still good for 26 yards on first down. Bradshaw to Franco Harris, which is what I expected to see more of today, Sonny.
There they throw on first down, and which is important, what you have to do. He had time. He got some pressure, sprinted out to the right side. If he had thrown the ball up, took something off of it, and laid it up in the air, it would have been an easy touchdown. Instead, he elected to rifle the ball to Franco to make sure he got it to him, and he has a great strong arm with the ability to throw the ball off balance, but it did pull Franco out of bounds.
So the Steelers have good field position at their own 43-yard line. Stallworth is to the left. Lynn Swan to the right. Bradshaw back to pass. His backs are out. Bradshaw firing deep down the middle. Long one is too far. Intended for John Stallworth. Stallworth had a step on Mel Renfro, but Bradshaw overthrew the target.
Bradshaw so far now 8 out of 18 in the passing department, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. Sonny, significant here. They've come out in the fourth quarter throwing. They know they're behind by 3 points. They must feel they can't afford to try to put together some kind of a sustained drive. They want to get on the board, either get on top, get this thing tied up a little bit, and try to take some of that momentum away from the Dallas defense.
I think they certainly feel that way. They haven't been able to sustain any long drives. They didn't take advantage of the turnover. He's come out throwing twice on first down. He's got a second long situation now.
Swan to the right, Stallworth to the left. The mix-up in the backfield. A handoff to Franco Harris. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Bradshaw almost looked like he wanted to throw on that play. Bumped into Harris, and Jethro Pugh was there, who surrounded him back at the 40-yard line. That loses a couple. And that's not what the Steelers want to do in this situation. On the previous downs, Sonny, I thought that Stallworth was open, that he had Renfro beat, and that Bradshaw's pass would have, on the money, that would have been 6 points for the Steelers.
That's true, Ed. He overthrew him just a little bit. And now he's coming up with a 3rd and 12 situation against the prevent defense. So here you have to throw against the 8 men covering.
Wide receiver right, wide receiver left. The running backs are split. The running backs are out for the pass. Bradshaw being pursued by Dave Edwards, rolling right. He's in trouble. Down he goes. Bradshaw done for a loss by Randy White, the rookie out of Maryland, who was in there for just that situation. They put him in as an extra man. They put him as a down lineman or a linebacker. He's allowed to play either position when he comes in. And he was the man who put the heat on Bradshaw and threw him for a loss back at the 27-yard line. The Pittsburgh Steelers will have to kick it away, as Bradshaw now has been sacked twice for 19 yards, the latest a 14-yard dump. So 4th down and miles to go, Sonny. At least 25 yards anyway.
Momentum turned back around then with the great play from Randy White from the University of Maryland.
Golden Richard, your single safety. Bobby Waller gets off a high booming kick, the kind he used to kick when he was at the University of Georgia. Richards goes all the way back to the 15-yard line to get it. He's at the 20, goes to his right to the far sidelines, bellies back to the 15, goes out of bounds at the 18. Richards went a long way to go nowhere. Sam Davis, the man who was chasing him out. A 58-yard punt. There's a timeout on the field with the score: the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Way back in 1876, it was brewed and aged to deliver a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability found in no other beer at any price. I'm talking about Budweiser, and it's still brewed that way today, with pride, without compromise, to be the king of beers. The largest selling beer in the history of the world, for one simple reason: that Beechwood-aged Budweiser taste. And that speaks for itself. Hear it talking?
When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one, there's only something less, because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
The Dallas Cowboys protecting a 3-point lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 10-7 with 13 minutes, 11 seconds to go in regulation time. Of course, with a score like this, the possibility of sudden death overtime becomes a possibility as well. You know, Sonny, earlier we were talking about the possibility of this being an offensive game. Early in the first quarter, scores tied up 7-7. We're going up and down the field. Since that time, it's become a defensive game. And you take a look at third down efficiency in the ball game. The Dallas Cowboys converting on 3 of 9 situations. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the 50% mark, 6 out of 12 on third downs.
Defense is really dominated here in the second half, the third quarter, and starting the fourth quarter.
Out of the eye come the Cowboys. Newhouse, Pearson are the setbacks from the eye. It is Staubach to Pearson. Lateral back to Staubach. Staubach fakes the cross. Staubach tries to run but loses yardage. There's a play that Sonny Jurgensen, I'm sure, did when he was a young man in the schoolyard. What do you think about that, Sonny?
I can recall running that play in 1958. You give the ball to a back on a draw play. He runs into the line. The laterals back to the quarterback for the long throw. But the pressure by the defense kept him from getting the pass away, and he gets sacked.
Steve Furness was the man who was making the most pressure as it loses 1 yard. So it is now 2nd down and 11 for the Cowboys. And as they try to eat up some of that clock, leading by 3 points over the Pittsburgh Steelers here early in the fourth quarter. Out of the huddle they come. Richards is to the left. To the right is Drew Pearson. Setback split far apart. Now they shift to the eye. Front man is Newhouse. The back man is Dennison. They give this to Dennison. Dennison gets by one man, but he can't get by a whole slew of tacklers as he's hit back behind the 20-yard line. First man to get to him was Mike Wagner. Again, Steve Furness filling in for Joe Green makes the stop. As the Cowboys running game is stymied, they pick up a yard on forward motion. That's all. Out to the 19-yard line. It is 3rd and 10, Sonny. And here we go with the shotgun, I guess.
They're going to load up the shotgun, and I tell you, they put an awful lot of pressure on their defense. They don't get a first down here because Pittsburgh will be receiving the ball at about midfield and good field position.
When they go to the shotgun, they put Young in as a running back, and they're in the shotgun. 5 wide receivers. Staubach back at the 14, waiting for the snap. Dallas showing 4 rushmen. Here's Staubach back at the 7. Coxion brings it down, has to run, in trouble at the 15. Down he goes. Staubach is dumped. L.C. Greenwood, 6'6", 245, gets to him and dumps him for a loss, along with Dwight White and Steve Furness. That front 4 coming hard. Now Dallas must turn the ball over again. 4th down from their own 15-yard line. Dave Brown and Glenn Edwards, the twin safety. Mitch Hoops as the kicker. Sonny, now the Steelers have the opportunity to set up shop with good field position.
They certainly do. The people receiving are on around their own 45-yard line. He'll be kicking from right around. Mitch Hoops will be kicking just about from his goal line. So it's an opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers here early in the fourth quarter.
Roger Staubach has now been sacked 5 times in this ball game. Ups back to kick at his own goal line. The kick is blocked. Out of the end zone it goes. The kick is blocked. And so a big play on that one coming through to make the stop. Reggie Harrison. He is a running back, plays in the specialty teams, busted through there and blocked that kick, caught him right in the midsection and bounced back in the end zone. So he goes as a safety. Jim Allen also involved in that play to get through. A big one there, Sonny, because that makes it a situation where the Dallas Cowboys now have to kick to the Pittsburgh Steelers at the 20. Again, the Steelers get the opportunity, a good field position, and they trail now the Steelers by only 1 point.
They certainly will, and they'll get the ball back right here They'll put in their kickoff return team, and they'll get it in good field position again.
So Reggie Harrison made the block for the safety. It is now Dallas 10, Pittsburgh 9. We have 11:28 left in the fourth period. The Dallas Cowboys must kick the ball from their own 20-yard line, what is called a free kick. You don't see that very often.
And I think it's what we were talking about earlier. You just sit and wait for this Pittsburgh defense to do something. The offense has not been able to move the ball. The defense and special teams come up with something, put some points on the board. 11:28 to go, 10-9. Steelers down by a point, but the Cowboys now must have a free kick from their own 20, and the Pittsburgh offense gets the ball back again.
Mitch Hoops will do the punting. They have the option of punting or place kicking, and they will punt. Here is the kick. It's down the middle, taken at the 30-yard line by Collier. Here's Collier going to the wall across the 35, 40, 45, midfield stripe. He's pulled down at the Dallas 45. Very good field position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good return by Collier as they set up shop. Mitch Hoops made the tackle, the man who did the punting. So now the crowd comes alive as the Pittsburgh Steelers, moving from your left to your right, have the ball on the Dallas Cowboys 45-yard line. It is Dallas 10, Pittsburgh 9, but you get the feeling the Steelers are coming. Their defense taking charge of this football game. Harris and Blyer are the setbacks. They've got the wide receivers right and left, Swan and Stallworth. To give Harris left, he's trying to sweep, gets by one man, cuts back inside, goes to the 40. As Franco Harris picks his way forward behind a block from John Kolb, his offensive guard, along with Sam Davis on that left side of the line. So it's down to the 40-yard line. Sonny, second down and 5 for the Steelers at the Cowboy 40.
Two big teams by the special teams of both Dallas and the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game so far. By Dallas in the first half, and now Pittsburgh getting the safety here in the fourth quarter.
Swan is to the right. Stallworth is to the left, out of the eye. Franco Harris, the front man. They give it to Blyer, the second man through. He tries to leap over a tackler, goes down to the 35-yard line. Very, very close to the first down. Rocky Blyer, the Vietnam veteran, going behind the blocking of Franco Harris, 6'2", 230. Harris can open some holes. They mark his forward motion at the 36, so he's short of a first down by a little less than a yard. So it's third down, a little less than a yard. Slack and Grossman come in the lineup, and the two wide receivers, Stallworth and Swan, come out. That's to give across the Steelers more blocking power in this situation. It also pretty much precludes a forward pass unless they throw to Grossman as they did earlier in a situation like this and got a touchdown, their only touchdown. Here's Bradshaw. Bradshaw gives the ball to Harris, swings around the left end. He's got the first down as he goes down the 35, 34, 33-yard line. Rocky Blyer sprung the block for Harris to get loose around the left side. They didn't send Harris into the heavy traffic, Sonny. They sent him wide. A good call.
It certainly was. Rocky Blyer just tied up Mel Renfro, and with a great quickness that Franco has, he just burst outside with no one in front of him and picks up the first down. They have it. They're on a march, and Dallas is going to have to buckle up.
Steelers first down and 10 at the Dallas 29. From the eye, Harris the front man, Blyer the deep man. It is Bradshaw giving the ball up to Rocky Blyer, but that time he doesn't go anywhere as he tries to go off the right side. Ed Too Tall Jones smothers the play as he takes it for about a yard, and that's all to the 28. Second down and 9, and that pretty much dictates that Bradshaw is going to have to put it up, or he's going to have to pull a draw. He cannot go anymore with a power sweep. I would think at this point he would have to go with something a little more wide open.
Dallas defense did exactly what we were talking about. They buckle up, Dan. They made the big play on first down. I was kind of surprised he didn't throw the ball on first down again.
Two wide receivers on the right side. Stallworth in the slot, Swan wide right. Bradshaw rolls right. Bradshaw's going to run, tucks the ball in his belly, down across the 30, 25, runs over a tackler. He throws the ball out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Bradshaw was not out of bounds, Sonny. Now, I know you used to fear for your life in situations like that. You might have thrown your body out of bounds, Sonny, but I've never seen a quarterback go out and throw the ball out of bounds like that.
He was trying to pick up a first down by throwing the ball forward. I don't think they would have called it a fumble, but he did lose the ball, and it's third and short yardage again. A big play for both teams.
Intended receiver was the flagstick, son.
It looked like it, Jim.
Third down and a yard to go for the Steelers. They're at the Cowboys 20, 9:01 left. Steelers trail by a single point. Dallas leading 10-9. Again, they have the tight ends in there. Grossman is a wing. They have Harris and Blair as the setbacks. The give is a Harris. Harris fights his way through there on a mix-up and a handoff. Close to the first down, Harris and Bradshaw collided. Harris managed to hang on to the ball, keep going, but he ran into Jethro Pugh and Leroy Jordan. Obviously a bad handoff on that one, Sonny, and it's very close to the first down.
They had a mix-up in the backfield. Franco took a little tighter angle than Terry Bradshaw anticipated, and he ran into him. He bumped him. He made the initial contact to stop. It looks like they're a little short. They're going to call for a measurement, but it looks like they're going to be a little short for the first down. They want to see exactly how far they have to go, decide whether or not they want to kick it or attempt to go for the first down.
Harris has now rushed for 77 yards and 22 carries, and this is crucial because Gorilla has missed 2 relatively short field goal attempts today. So if it's fourth and as Bradshaw signals about a foot, they might decide to go for the first down. They are not, as Gorilla is coming on to try again for the 3rd time today to make his first field goal. He has not had a good day. He's missed 2. His extra point was also a little bit unshaky as it was a little bit to the left and almost did not go between the crossbars. Walden will hold. The kick will be from the 26. It will be a 36-yard kick. It will be from the right hash mark. The lines are down. Gorilla will side. He comes forward. He puts it up. It is high enough. It is up in the air. Ready for the signal. It is good. Roy Gorilla puts Pittsburgh back in front of the Super Bowl. It is the Steelers, the defending champs. 12. The Dallas Cowboys 10. And there's a pause in the action.
Here it comes, America, our 200th birthday, and Kelly Springfield is helping you celebrate with Tire Sale 76, a super savings on white wall belted tires from Kelly Springfield. Right now, during Sale 76, you can buy a set of 4 glass-belted Roadmark tires for only $76. It's celebration time and savings time, too. Put quality Roadmark belted tires on your car during the Kelly Springfield Tire Sale 76. 4 for only $76, plus a $1.75 federal excise tax each in the size A78-13 white wall. 4 Roadmark belted tires for only $76. You'll find them at all Kelly Springfield Auto Service stores and participating Kelly Springfield dealers, as well as many Sunoco and other service stations. Kelly Springfield. Tires that make a world of difference.
For the first time in Super Bowl 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers lead. Their lead a precarious 2 points, 12-10 over the Cowboys, 8 minutes, 41 seconds to go. And Ed, you and I must bid goodbye, at least temporarily, to old number 9, Sonny Jurgensen. Sonny, outstanding job.
Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you, Jim and Ed. Good luck the rest of the way. I think we forced some offense out of the Cowboys here in the 4th quarter with Pittsburgh taking the lead.
I think we've also eliminated the possibility of a sudden death overtime, Ed, unless you've got some strange mathematics worked out over there.
Well, the safety is the only thing we can have, and we've already had that. All right, the deep men are Dennison to the far sidelines, Pearson, Preston, first aim to the near sidelines. It is at the 15-yard line. Fumbled by Preston Pearson. He turns around and reclaims it back at the 15. But what that does, Mike Collier was all over Pearson, and so was Reggie Harrison. And what that does, it eliminates the run back, and the Cowboys must set up shop deep in their own territory as 80,197 people. The Orange Bowl chews up sides. And the preponderance at the moment is for the Pittsburgh Steelers as the chant of defense, defense.
And I think now we'll find out how the Dallas Cowboys have matured. They're the first Super Bowl team to get here via the wild card route. They're playing the defending champions, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh has gone out in front for the first time. It's time now for Dallas to assert themselves.
Richards is to the left. Drew Pearson is to the right. As the Cowboys go 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Pearson fakes handoff. Staubach back to throw. Intercepted by Pittsburgh at the 45. It's right down to 20. 15, 10, 5. He is stopped at the 5-yard line. Mike Wagner picks off a Roger Staubach pass. Again, the Steeler defense makes the big play. Staubach on play action, dropping back to his 5, through down the middle, and the pass is picked off. Now at the 7-yard line, they really went down. The Pittsburgh Steelers in a marvelous situation to go ahead and take the lead up from 2 points to possibly 9 at this situation. Jimmy?
Well, it's the second interception against Roger Staubach. A rather surprising call that from their own 15-yard line, they went to the air right away. 8 minutes, 22 seconds to go. If Pittsburgh gets 7 here, Dallas is in real trouble, Ed.
Drew Pearson was the intended receiver on that one. It is Bradshaw handing the ball off to Rocky Blair. Behind the blocking of Franco Harris. He goes inside the 5, down to the 4 as he swung around the right end. Now that one, 19-yard return on that pass interception that gave the Steelers a golden opportunity to go ahead here. Clark and Kolb tried to open up the running room on the right side for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have it on the Dallas 4-yard line as the Steelers try to go for 7 and go a long way toward locking up their second straight Super Bowl championship. The Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, the defending champions, trailing most of the afternoon, but their defense finally put enough pressure on so that they have the lead 12-10, and they're knocking at the goal again on a second down and goal-to-go situation from the 4-yard line. They've got 3 tight ends in. Grossman acts as a wing. Bradshaw back to throw, slips, regains his footing, goes straight ahead inside the 5, down to the 3-yard, to the 2-yard line goes Bradshaw. Bradshaw almost slipped on the very slippery poly turf. Rocky Blair, Franco Harris trying to give him some blocking. They did open up a hole in the middle, which enabled Bradshaw, once he regained his footing, to go up the middle, but Jordan and Edwards stopped him short of the goal line. Jimmy?
And that was a run all the way. Bradshaw tucked it in. He was going around the left side, but Harvey Martin was there. Bradshaw just tucked it back in, ducked over on the right-hand side, changed his direction. He's got it down on the 1-yard line.
And 3rd down and goal to go. Harris and Blair set behind Bradshaw. The give is to Bradshaw to Harris. Harris fumbles. It's up in the air at the 2-yard line. Let's see who recovers. Big pileup at the 2. Harris had the ball pop out of his hands as he went off the left side. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage. He is at the bottom of that pile. Jethro Pugh was the man who made the hit. The man who recovered was Franco Harris. Bill Gregory also in on the stop. So Harris at least reclaims it so that the Pittsburgh Steelers can go for 3, the field goal. Gorilla is on. Walden will hold the kick equivalent to an extra point. It'll be from the 9. A 19-yard field goal attempt. The snap, the spot, the kick. It is up in the air. It is good. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have increased their lead to 5, but the key here is that they did not get the touchdown, and so the Cowboys can still win this ball game with a touchdown as we have 6:37 left in this ball game. Jim?
This fall, postseason coverage will be exclusive on the CBS Radio Network as we bring you the American and National League Championships. Follow all the action. We'll have the World Series for you as well. Your reserve seat for baseball in 1976 will be right here on your dial for baseball's best, the CBS Radio Network. 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go. The Steelers out on top by 5 now. Pittsburgh 15, Dallas 10. And Ed, as we've said in the second half, it's been the inability of the Pittsburgh Steeler offense that has spurned that defense on again. They've come up with the big plays. They forced the safety. They forced the turnover. They had Jarrella set up that 19-yard field goal. Still, the Dallas defense has not yielded.
It is not. The problem has been that the Dallas offense has been able to move the ball for a couple of first downs at times, but they have diffused the bomb, which, of course, the Cowboys are a big play offense. And ever since Staubach hooked up on that touchdown with Drew Pearson back in the first period, the Cowboys have not really hit with a bomb, especially in the touchdown department. But the big thing here, Jim, with 6:37, Dallas can still win this ball game with a touchdown because it is Pittsburgh 15, Dallas 10. And by my math, even new math, that's a 5-point difference.
Even Win Elliott's math.
The deep man.
It'll be interesting to see the play selection that Tom Landry decides now. He's gone back to the airwaves. Staubach's had 2 picked off. That pass was intended over the middle. I guess you'd have to expect him to go back to the sideline or try to move it down a little bit first, huh?
Or the Hail Mary, thinking back 2 games of the playoffs against the Minnesota Vikings when Staubach put it up, and they got a touchdown out of it, 50 yards. Gorilla will kick off. He puts toe into leather. It's a high kick down to the 5-yard line. It is Preston Pearson taking it. This time he hangs on to it. 10, 15, 20. Runs into one man, spins around, keeps going as he drives out to the 23-yard line. Preston Pearson hit by Reggie Harrison. Donnie Shell. Shell a headhunter on that special teams for the Steelers.
Unlike earlier in the ball game when it was the Dallas Cowboys pursuing the ball and gang tackling, it now has become the Pittsburgh Steelers. There were 7 black jerseys around Pearson right there. Where the Cowboys were firing off the ball earlier in the ball game, Ed, they seem to have lost something. I think the safety and the quick field goal, they've lost a little of the momentum here. They've got to start hitting, they've got to start beating the Steelers off the ball, winning the war down there in the pit.
Last 4 times Staubach has thrown, 2 of them have been picked off. We now have a correction of the attendance. Drop it down to 80,100 187. How could we ever tell the difference in 1,000 people in this big place? Here is Staubach, back to throw. Roger wants to pitch. He throws right side to Newhouse at the 20. Newhouse spins away from one man, across the 25, out to the 27, out to the 28. It is Steve Furness who makes the tackle on Newhouse on a swing pass out to the right side. It was not a screen. Roger Staubach trying to give Newhouse a little running room.
That missing 1,000, they're still at Hialeah.
At the party, Jim, you're talking about?
Friday night.
That's right.
Just a small get-together among friends, right?
An intimate gathering of several thousand people hosted by the NFL. That is the party that runs in excess of $75,000, which is a little bit more than what you've been spending, Jim, lately for your parties. All right, out of the I formation come the Cowboys. Both wide receivers out to the left side. Here is Staubach faking the draw. Back to pitch. He has time. Now he doesn't. Scrambles right. Being pursued by White. He gets away from White, but he's in trouble. He'll be back down at the 18-yard line. Again, Roger Staubach is dubbed L.C. Greenwood. The man who gave Fran Tarkenton so much misery in the Super Bowl last year is the man that brought down Roger Staubach along with Steve Furness. And that is the 6th time that Staubach has been dumped this afternoon. Ralph Neely is the man that's been going against Dwight White. Neely, 11-year veteran, has had a rather rough afternoon against White. So it is 3rd down and 15 for the Dallas Cowboys at their own 19-yard line. Big play here as they load up the shotgun. Staubach, 6 times sacked. He's lost 41 yards today. It is Richards, Golden to the right. Pearson, Drew to the left. And now the shotgun. Staubach back at the 14, waiting for the snap. Staubach has it. Staubach back to the 10. Staubach back to the 7. Staubach looking. Throws out the left side to Young. Complete the 15, 20, 25. Young breaks a tackler. Goes out to the 28, but he will not get the first down. Charlie Young, heavy-duty running back, 210 pounds. Second-year man out of NC State. Right into Jack Lambert and L.C. Greenwood. And that's a lot of tonnage there. So the Dallas Cowboys must give up the football with 4:50 left. They trail by 5 points. A Dallas player injured on the play, Golden Richards. Stretched out, may have just had the wind knocked out of him. The Dallas Cowboys will come on to work over him. So, Jim, the Cowboys now in trouble as they must give up the football.
Well, the key man right here would be Mitch Hoops, and I guess you'd have to go back 4 or 5 games ago. But he has thrown a pass, Eddie, and it was good for a big first down in a big ball game that Dallas ended up winning. We've got 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. I don't, however, think that Coach Landry will allow Hoops to be throwing a pass here. I think they'll have to kick it away, rely on the defense to dig in, get the ball back with, I guess, a little bit under 3 minutes to go and give it one more try.
And if the defense is to do the job, they're going to have to shut down the running of Franco Harris, who's been able, while not devastating the Dallas defense by any means, has nevertheless been able to pick up 3, 4, or 5 yards of crack. And, of course, if they start doing that, they can ball control their way right through the rest of this ball game with 4:50 left. Richards is the man that's hurt out of the 30-yard line. He is stretched out. He is moving both legs at this point. May have had the wind knocked out of him. It's hard to speculate on injuries, and I don't like to do any of that in this situation. But for the Dallas Cowboys, the wild card team who has come so far, they have run into a ball club today that grew stronger as the afternoon wore on. It was the Steeler defense that came to the fore, as they have so many times this season, last season. In fact, the last 4 years that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made the playoffs. For the Dallas Cowboys, the 9th time in 10 years they have made the playoffs. Each club has won one world championship in Super Bowl competition.
We also should point out, I think, Ed, that Dallas has won against Pittsburgh the last 7 times these teams have met, including a 17-16 preseason win this year. Also, Dallas was the last NFC team to win the Super Bowl.
That's right. The AFC has won 6 of these 9 meetings. And should this game end the way it is now, it'll make it 7 out of 10 for the AFC. Rich is now up on his feet, a little woozy, and will walk very slowly off to the Dallas bench, which is across to the far sidelines. And now the shadows have almost lengthened the entire field here at the Orange Bowl on what has been a beautiful day for football. It may not be as warm as a tourist would like it, nor the natives, but it's been ideal football weather with a temperature in the upper 50s and a crisp, almost autumn-like afternoon, Jim.
It's funny how names can kind of indicate what kind of a player you've got. Golden Richards, that flows, doesn't it?
It's beautiful.
Doesn't that indicate to you that he'd be a wide receiver? But if your name is Jethro Pugh, you know he's going to scratch your eyes out, right?
And if your name is Mitch Hoops, you're going to kick it right here at the 14-yard line with Brown and Edwards, the deep men, waiting back at the Pittsburgh 30. All right, here is a kick. Nice spiral. Driving back to the 23-yard line and taking it is Glenn Edwards. Edwards tries to spin away from one man as he comes up the middle, gets to the 30, and down he goes. The man making his stop, Randy White, that fine rookie first-round pick of the Cowboys from Maryland, making his stop. 47-yard punt. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have it 1st and 10 at their own 30. They're moving from your left to your right with 4:25 left in the Super Bowl number 10. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers on top of the Dallas Cowboys, 15-10. The Dallas defense will try to take it away, of course. The Pittsburgh offense, if they can move it on the ground, they can eat up the clock. And they've got the man who can do it. Franco Harris, along with Rocky Blair, are the setbacks. Dallas is no longer at a flex defense as Harris comes off the right side. Harris moves for a couple of yards, and that's all. In the arms of Jethro Pugh from Elizabeth City State. As Harris, trying to go off on a misdirection play up the middle, takes it out to the 34-yard line. A gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Clock continues to roll. It's down to 4:05. Notice, Jimmy, that on that 1st down, Dallas was out of the flex defense.
I think now they're in a situation, Ed, they might even put Randy White back in here now and go with 4 linebackers pretty soon. They've got to start shooting the gap. They've got to take some chances, try to anticipate where the play is going, force a fumble.
Bradshaw gives to Harris. He doesn't find much running room as he goes across the 35 out to the 36 as Franco hits off the right side over the right tackle. Brought down by Leroy Jordan, the 13-year veteran linebacker out of Alabama, 34 years old. So it is 3rd down coming up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They must move the ball 4 yards to get the necessary yardage for 1st down to retain possession. And this is a tough call for a quarterback with 3:25 left, 3rd and 4, leading by 5 points. What do you do at this situation? Word on Golden Richards is possible broken rib. Jim?
You would expect they would go to Franco Harris.
I would think so, but Bradshaw is not. Bradshaw wants to throw. Bradshaw looks. He fires a long pass. Way down. He's got a man in the open. It's Lynn Swann. Swann has a touchdown. Lynn Swann makes the catch at the 5. Goes in to make the score. And the man he beat deep was Mark Washington, the quarterback. 1-on-1 coverage, and what a call that was for Terry Bradshaw. As he unloaded the bomb to Lynn Swann. Beautiful pass. Swann caught it at the 5. He went in to score 64 yards. Terry Bradshaw to Lynn Swann. And that this afternoon has been the most effective weapon we have seen in this football game. As the Pittsburgh Steelers may have wrapped it up. And I think they lost their quarterback for today, too, Jim, because Terry Bradshaw is being helped off the field. He looks like he's groggy. He may have suffered upper body injury, but it may have been also that knee, which was bruised. 2 people helping him off.
Bradshaw just got that ball away to Swann, a perfectly thrown ball, but D.D. Lewis was chasing him coming in from the right side, reached up for the ball. Had he gone for the man, Ed, he would have had Bradshaw. He went for the ball, tried to bat the ball away. Otherwise, he would have had Terry. But as it is, Pittsburgh now up 21-10, the point after attempt coming up.
Here is Gorilla's kick. It is up in the air. Waiting for the signal. Still waiting. No good is the signal. Roy Gorilla misses the extra point. And so is Pittsburgh 21, Dallas 10. And let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
WCBS, New York.
Jim Kelly and Ed Ingles back at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida, and what a sudden turn of events this has been. 3rd down, 4 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bradshaw didn't fake, set right up in the pocket, evaded D.D. Lewis coming in from the right side, fired a perfect strike, 64 yards. Lynn Swann, 21-10 Pittsburgh. The point after hit the upright. And Pittsburgh, who had found themselves trailing going into the 4th and final quarter, now finds themselves enjoying an 11-point lead. Dallas running out of time and possibly running out of Hail Marys. 3:02 to go. Girella to put it up. Dallas needs a big play here, Eddie.
Girella's extra point attempt hit the right post and was no good. But it would make little difference at this point because by missing, Pittsburgh is ahead by 11. Had he made it, they would have been ahead by 12. I can't see that being instrumental at this point. Girella will kick off. We have twin safeties. We have Dennison and Preston Pearson are deep. Here's Gorilla. This one, he really booms into the end zone. Pearson goes back, drops the ball in the end zone, and knees says, I'm not going to try to bring that one out. So Dallas will start from their own 20. They must go 80 yards just to close the gap. That would be not enough for them to win this ball game, and they only have 2:54 left. They need 2 touchdowns, Jim, is what they need.
Well, they need one right away. There's no doubt about that. Clock running down with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Roger Staubach will go to work, of course. Golden Richards is now out, so we'll keep our eye on Preston Pearson, the tight end Billy Joe Dupree, as Gene Fugit is also out. And he's lost most of his receivers. Preston Pearson, I would assume at this point, would be his primary receiver. Look for Newhouse to slide out of the backfield. Staubach has to go to work, and he has to do it quickly.
Yes, with Fugit out and Richards out. They're in a situation where they've got to put a new receiver in. Wide to the right and wide to the left. Pearson is the man on the left. Back to throw Staubach. Staubach throws over the middle. The Young complete at the 22, 25. Down he goes at the 26-yard line. Charlie Young over the middle, catching it. Andy Russell there to make the stop. So Staubach went short on first down. Not willing to risk to throw the ball. Bradshaw has a slight concussion. Jim, you know what happened in the AFC Championship game? Terry Bradshaw had a slight concussion in the fourth quarter of that game. So he now has sustained 2 concussions in 2 weeks. And here come the Cowboys in a situation of 2nd and 3 from their own 26-yard line. It is Staubach from the shotgun. Staubach dropping back at the 15-yard line. Staubach wants to throw a long one. He fires down the right side. It is complete. Did he stay in bounds? The signal is he did catch it in bounds at the 43-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drew Pearson out of Tulsa makes the grab for the Dallas Cowboys as they set up shop now at the Pittsburgh Steelers 43-yard line. A gain of 30 yards. J.T. Thomas, the cornerback, Mike Wagner, the safety, both back there covering against Pearson.
So it wasn't the best pass that Staubach's thrown, but it got there. It was kind of floating out there a little bit. Had the cornerback been in position, he might have batted it away, but it got to Pearson. So Dallas now into Pittsburgh territory. Clock running 2:08 now. Stopped on the out of bounds, of course, but an 11-point Cowboy deficit.
Percy Howard, a wide receiver with Pearson now as a shotgun again. Staubach is back to throw at the 45. He fires out the left side. It is complete at the 35. And out of bounds he goes at the 32-yard line. The pass is complete to Preston Pearson out the left side. Good throw then by Staubach. He was on the money. Good move by Pearson. Cowboys are moving. We're down to the 2:03 mark. Jim, they saved the play on that one by going out of bounds. They'll get the 2-minute warning, which will give them a timeout. So it's 1st and 10 for the Cowboys at the Steelers 32.
And, you know, we've really got a lot of time left. We keep talking about the clock being a factor. It's obvious, I'm sure, that they must get a touchdown on this drive and get one fairly quickly. But then you look what Oakland did last week against, 2 weeks ago, against Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship ball game. The onside kick, they came back, they just ran out of time. Of course, they needed a field goal here, but Dallas needs 2 touchdowns. Eddie?
Howard is to the left. Pearson is to the right. Again, Staubach operating now exclusively out of the shotgun. He's back to the 40, back to the 42. He looks, he's in trouble. He's about to be sacked for the 7th time today. Down he goes, back at the 33-yard line again. Dwight White going over Ralph Neely to dump Roger Staubach. 7th time today Staubach has been sacked, and I cannot remember a time when Roger Staubach was sacked 7 times in one game.
Well, I'll tell you what, earlier in the week, our Win Elliot talked with Roger Staubach, asked him about the importance of the Super Bowl, asked him what else is important in life, and Roger was giving a little of his philosophy. He said that this is actually just a football game. Of course, it's Roger's 3rd Super Bowl, but one of Roger's goals is to go to heaven. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys are making his room reservation.
Yes, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the role of the devil at this point, if we want to use that analogy. Swan has set a new Super Bowl record, 161 yards in receptions. The old record held by Max McGee of the Green Bay Packers. McGee had 138. Now Swan is in with 161 and the big offensive man of the day.
This summer stacking up as a winner for CBS Radio Sports. We'll bring you baseball's all-star game, coverage of the Summer Olympics from Montreal, and feature star competition at the U.S. Open Tennis Tournament at Forest Hills. You'll hear it all right here on CBS Radio Network.
1:56 left in this football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers 21, the Dallas Cowboys 10. At times today, the Steelers have had to overcome their own offense. They've had to overcome Roy Gorilla's inadequate field goal kicking. It's always been the defense that's made the big plays today for the Steelers, plus Bradshaw going to Lynn Swan, and Franco Harris, while not having a spectacular day, has had a steady afternoon. For Roger Staubach, it has been a tough afternoon that has grown progressively longer as the day has gone.
Staubach 13 out of 19 in the passing department, 158 yards, 1 touchdown. That, of course, came in the first quarter. And Eddie, he's using his receivers, all of them, pretty well here. Pearson with 2 catches, Fugit with 1. He's out, of course. Dennison with a grab. Preston Pearson with 3 grabs. Charles Young with 3. Newhouse with 2. And now he's got 5 up as he line up in the shotgun with 2nd down and 12.
Staubach waiting for the snap from Fitzgerald. He has it. He's back to throw. Back at the 45. He cocks. He wants to throw long down the left side. Howard is open. Touchdown. The defender fell down. He hits Percy Howard. The defender was Mel Blount. Mel Blount slipped and went down right at the goal line. Percy Howard was wide open on the left side and caught it. And Jim, as you know, as we said before, this poly turf here is patched up. It's got rips in it. It's been sowed. It's slippery. It's very slippery when it is wet. And though it is dry here today, Blount went down on that 34-yard touchdown pass from Staubach to Percy Howard. Howard filling in for Golden Richards. He is a rookie, 23 years old, one of the 12 rookies for the Dallas Cowboys. He's out of Austin Peay. Tony Fritsch, who has no college affiliation, is on for the extra point try. Charlie Waters will hold it. Here is the snap, the kick. It is up in the air. It is good. So the gap has been narrowed now. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers 21, the Dallas Cowboys 17. We have 1:48 left in the game, and we do have enough time, Jim Kelly.
So now we have to start doing some thinking. If you're Tom Landry, you've got 1:48 left on the clock. You're down by 4 points. A field goal won't do it. You need a touchdown. Do you kick off? You give the Pittsburgh Steelers a chance to start 1st and 10 and assume your defense is going to be able to hold them, force a punt, and then leave it all up to Roger Staubach in your offense? Or at this point, Eddie, do you try the onside kick? You know that Oakland was able to do that and recover one. Of course, the Steelers anticipating the kick. They've got 5 up there right now. It must go 10 yards. Tony Fritsch all set to boot it off. What would you do, Ed?
I would kick it deep.
I agree.
I would kick it deep. Try to pin the Steelers back in their own territory. Make them turn over after 3 downs.
You've got a woozy Terry Bradshaw who may or may not come in to hand off. You've got a good chance for a fumble there. Of course, Coach Noel wouldn't put Bradshaw in if he is woozy. Hanratty would come in, or perhaps Joe Gilliam.
Mike Collier is the deep man. There is the onside kick. The Steelers recover at the Dallas Cowboys 43-yard line. The man who recovered was Jerry Mullins. They tried the onside kick. Mullins fielded very nicely, had the handle on it all the way. So now the Steelers have good field position. And even if the Cowboys should stop the Steelers, they'd have to go the long way the Cowboys would to try to pull this game out now. So that the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Dallas Cowboy 42-yard line, we have 1st down and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And it wouldn't have mattered even if Dallas recovered. The ball only went 7.5 yards, so it would have been Pittsburgh's ball anyhow.
We have a new quarterback, Jim. Terry Hanratty is in. Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw suffering a concussion in that touchdown pass to Lynn Swan. He has Dwyer and Harris behind him. This Hanratty hands off to Franco Harris. He tries to go left, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Cowboys pouring through. Waters is in. Pugh is in to make the stop back at the 45-yard line to give him forward motion to the Dallas 44-yard line. So it's a loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 12 for the Steelers with 1:41 left in this football game.
Hanratty was saying earlier in the week that he's the secret weapon for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that they haven't seen him play all year, and so Dallas has no way of defensing him.
I think that Terry Hanratty would prefer to be better scouted than he has been. He's taken things very well. I know that at first he was disgruntled when Bradshaw came in and took over, but Hanratty, I think, is grown accustomed to his role as the backup quarterback. He has never shown any inkling of greatness, and he seems to be a journeyman quarterback, but in this situation, the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to hand the ball off. But now it seems with a 2nd down and 12 situation, Chuck Noll must give some thought whether he will trust Hanratty to put the ball upstairs in order to try to go for that 1st down and hold on to the football. But my own feeling at this point, Jim, is that they can play it conservatively, because if they are stalled, a good punt would pin Dallas back inside their 20. All right, here comes Hanratty in the quarterback slot. He's got Stallworth and Lynn Swan as his wide receivers. Hanratty on the long count, looks over the defense, looking at his 7-man defensive line. They give it to Franco Harris. Harris trying to get outside the right side, is caught from behind. Lasso down he goes at the Dallas 41-yard line. In to make the stop, Harvey Martin, the first man to get to him. So I'll get a gain of 2 yards on that play, perhaps 3 at the most, and make it 3rd down and 9. And now Hanratty is faced with a situation with a timeout called by Dallas, the 2nd timeout they have used with 1:33 left in the football game. Dallas has only 1 timeout left by my calculation, Jim. And Hanratty has come over to talk to Chuck Noll. It'd be interesting if we could listen into the conversation, because I suspect that Chuck Noll will say, let's keep it on the ground. I suspect that Terry Hanratty, who does not want to write any great history in this Super Bowl, would like to get the opportunity to put the ball up and make a completion and prove that, hey, look, Coach, I can still throw the football.
Well, you know, earlier when we were faced with a 3rd down and 4 situation with Bradshaw and Pittsburgh trying to protect at that time a 2-point lead, we assumed that maybe Pittsburgh would sit on that, but Chuck Noll gave Bradshaw the okay. He calls his own plays, and that's where we had a 64-yard touchdown bomb. So maybe Hanratty will be given the okay to put it up.
He will have checked it out with Noll first, though, on this time, Jim. Dallas showing their flex defense, and they give us to Rocky Blyer off the left side. He gets very little running room. Blyer gets down to the 41-yard line, runs into the arms of Jethro Pugh. 4th down is here. The Pittsburgh Steelers will punt with 1:28 left in the game. So Roger the Dodger will get another crack at this Pittsburgh defense. The Cowboy fans applauding their defensive stand of their team. As Bobby Walden has come on for Pittsburgh to do the punting. With 1:28 left, that's a lot of time in a pro football game because, as most of you listeners know, there's a 2-minute drill, and a lot can be accomplished in a 2-minute drill. The only thing is with the shotgun, generally, Jim, it takes a little longer to execute the play from the shotgun. Even though you're getting the snap directly instead of dropping back, you're still taking a lot of time for the play to develop with 5 wide receivers. Usually it takes a long time for the play to develop off the shotgun.
No question about that, and of course you've got to keep in mind, depending on where Dallas takes over, they're going to have a lot of polyturf they're going to need, so the receivers will be running deep patterns. That'll also take up some time. I'm watching over the right the Dallas booth. Clint Murchison, Tex Schramm, they are on their feet, leaning outside the glass, trying to cheer their club on. And right now, Eddie?
Jim, I can't understand this. Pittsburgh is not kicking on 4th and 8. They're going to run the ball. They're not going to get the first down. They're stopped at the 38-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, and I cannot understand that. Bobby Walden started to come on the field. He came back out in a 4th down situation. They did not punt. Apparently they were worried about the possibility of a block punt. I am not sure why. The thinking is not why they would do that.
I think for the first time in the ballgame, we've seen Chuck Noll out-coach Tom Landry. That being that Dallas was not prepared for that. On a punt, the clock would have stopped. And the Dallas Cowboys have no timeouts left. The clock continues to run.
The clock is stopped, though, Jim, with 1:22 left here at the 38-yard line for the Dallas Cowboys. And the clock is stopped on the turnover of the ball. So I can't figure out why. And there'll be an explanation, I'm sure, but I know why he did. He's got Howard as a wide receiver to the left side. He's got Drew Pearson out to the right of the shotgun. Roger Staubach loads it up from the 38-yard line, his own 38. It is Staubach on the snap. Bad snap. Picks it up. Back to throw at the 30. He has time. Now he has to run, though, as receivers are covered. Staubach at the 40, 45. Eludes a tackler as he goes out to the 49-yard line. He is dropped at that point by big Ernie Holmes. The clock is running because the Cowboys have no timeouts left.
You don't suppose that Coach Noll was afraid of having the punt blocked?
That was I said, Jimmy. The only thing I could think of was the block, and I mentioned that. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. All right, here we go. At the midfield stripe, Staubach in the shotgun. 55 seconds left. No timeouts left. Pittsburgh rushing only 3 men in a prevent defense. Back goes Staubach again. A low snap from Fitzgerald. Staubach looking. Staubach fires left side. It is completed the 45-yard line to Pearson. He's inside the 40 of the Steelers. He goes to the Steeler 38-yard line. Marv Keller makes the stop. Jack Lambert also in. The clock is moving as he was inbounds. 33 seconds, 32. But Staubach has the Cowboys moving.
And Staubach doesn't know he doesn't have any timeouts. He tried to call timeout there, and Pearson came running over to him quickly and said, Roger, we don't have any more.
He found out in a hurry. 27 left, 22 as the clock ticks down. At the 37, a bad snap. Staubach fumbles. He recovers. He's going to be dropped for a loss, but he gets away. He throws down the middle. It is too far. Roger Staubach, amazingly, after that low snap, the bobble looked like he was going to go down, but he eluded 2 defenders. Wound up firing deep for Drew Pearson, overthrew Pearson, who was being covered on that play by Glenn Edwards. Dwight White was the man who seemed to have Staubach wrapped up, but Staubach, as he has done so many times, managed to elude the defense and stop the clock for 12 seconds.
Kyle Davis, 57, a rookie from Oklahoma, has come in now, and John Fitzgerald out. So very, very similar, ladies and gentlemen, to that Minnesota game 3 weeks ago. Low snaps from center. Staubach in trouble. Time running out. A change in the center. Staubach went to Preston Pearson. Who'll forget that? A 50-yard touchdown bomb right now. Ed Ingles, he needs 38 yards.
And he's got 12 seconds to do it from the shotgun. He has 4 wide receivers. Staubach back to throw at the midfield. Arm down. Now he cocks the arm. Now he fires deep for the end zone. Up goes everybody. It's deflected and knocked away. Incomplete pass. It was the Hail Mary version that time as he threw for Percy Howard in the end zone. He put it high in the air. there. But there were J.T. Thomas, Glenn Edwards. They did not lose their footing. Jack Lambert was there. 3 defenders on that play, and they got their hands on it, deflected it away. So now the clock shows 3 seconds, Jim Kelly, and that, I would think, would mean 1 play left for the Dallas Cowboys, who are trailing in this ball game to the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-17. It's very simple. The Dallas Cowboys must score a touchdown on this play, or the Pittsburgh Steelers will have won their 2nd straight Super Bowl championship. They will match the record of the Green Bay Packers and the Miami Dolphins of winning back-to-back Super Bowls. All right, here come the Cowboys. They'll face a prevent defense, 3 men. Staubach has a new Super Bowl record with 4 touchdown passes to his career in the 2 previous games. Here's Staubach out of a shotgun again. Staubach waiting. Good snap. 45. He's back to the 48. Cocks the arm. Brings it down. Steps up. He fires long, deep down the middle. Deflected and then grabbed by the Steelers in the end zone. Intercepted is Glenn Edwards. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Along the far sidelines, he's tripped up at the 27-yard line. This football game is history. Super Bowl 10 is all over as Roger Staubach's pass intended for Drew Pearson is intercepted. The final score, the Pittsburgh Steelers 21, the Dallas Cowboys 17. We'll be back with a recap in a moment.
Okay, this is going to be a really good and really real commercial. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, when I say action, you hold up the Kmart sign and say, you get a goof-proof guarantee on picture processing at the complete camera shop inside Kmart.
I can't say all that. My mouth is too little.
Well, then just say, with Kmart's goof-proof guarantee, you end up paying for only the prints you like those good shots of loved ones or members of the opposite sex.
Oh, Jeffrey, I can't say that.
Kmart's goof-proof guarantee. If you goof and any of your shots don't come out good, you do, with a full price refund on any prints you don't like. It's a picture-perfect way to pick only perfect pictures of loved ones or members of the opposite sex.
Jeffrey.
What?
Are you the opposite sex, or am I?
Kmart is the saving place.
Jim Kelly and Ed Ingles back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. The Pittsburgh Steelers have won the championship of professional football for the 2nd year in a row. The final score, Pittsburgh 27, the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh 21, the Dallas Cowboys 17. Let's take a look at the scoring while Ed gets a chance to get his breath. It all began on a 29-yard pass play with 10 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the first quarter. Roger Staubach putting Dallas out in front with that 29-yard pass to Drew Pearson. The kick by Tony Fritsch made it 7-0 in favor of the Cowboys. Then with 5:27 to go in the first quarter, the Steelers got on the board. Terry Bradshaw connecting on a 7-yard strike to Randy Grossman. The kick by Roy Girella tied things up at 7-all. And at that point, for the first time in Super Bowl history, both teams scored in the first quarter, and we looked like we're going to have a real offensive struggle. But in the second quarter, with 14:55 to go, 36-yard field goal by Tony Fritsch of Dallas put the Cowboys back up by 3, 10-7 at that point. And then Roy Girella missed on 2 successive field goal tries, first from 36, then from 33 yards out, both kicks wide to the left side. So at halftime, our intermission score, the Cowboys 10 and the defending world champion Pittsburgh Steelers 7. In the third quarter, no scoring. We went up and down the field. There were really no scoring threats in the fourth quarter with Dallas on top.